Alrighty, welcome to episode 133 of Tokwa's Ask Us Anything. As usual, it's been a pretty busy news week. Details of the fourth generation supercharger sites have been revealed following the opening of Tesla's first V4 supercharger site in the Netherlands. While the new superchargers are similar to their predecessors, they do feature a cable length increase of approximately 1 metre and a significantly increased maximum DC voltage delivery of 1000 volts. Tesla is set to introduce a surplus solar charging feature which allows automatic topping up of the car's battery when there is surplus solar at home. Owners who at this stage presumably have a Powerwall installed can set two location-specific charging parameters in their car. The first is a lower level reserve charge parameter which sets a guaranteed minimum state of charge regardless of energy source. The second parameter sets the maximum total state of charge for the car. This is a level which will generally be reached by means of charging using surplus solar energy that would otherwise be sent to the grid. Tesla has released details of their prefabricated supercharger units which further demonstrates a single-minded unified design, manufacturing and deployment methodology. Each 4-stall unit is entirely self-contained with all cabling integrated into its integral concrete slab. The slabs have been cleverly tapered so that two 4-stall units can be carried on a standard semi-trailer. This elegant design not only saves costs, but also significantly reduces installation time from weeks previously to just a few days. Tesla's Gigafactory Berlin in Brandenburg is set to expand its production capacity to 1 million cars per annum according to application documents it has submitted to the state of Brandenburg. Interestingly, the applications seem to outline the expansion as occurring within the existing building envelope and that while doubling its existing planned nameplate production, it will not require any additional annual water allocation. Tesla appears to be shortly releasing a park assist function for vehicles that are not equipped with ultrasonic sensors. Utilising Tesla Vision's advanced occupancy network, Tesla's new park assist provides a 360-degree bounding box around the car which provides a detailed representation of surrounding vehicles and other objects while manually being parked. At this stage, this feature is wholly restricted to North American cars which don't have ultrasonic sensors and whose owners have paid for and applied for access to Tesla's FSD beta program. Ratings agency Moody's has finally upgraded Tesla's rating to Baa3, consequently lifting it out of junk status and into investment grade. This follows S&P's similar ratings lift which it initiated over 5 months ago. Tesla's now doubly rated investment grade officially lifts the company into the lower bounds of blue chip status. Tesla's disgraced former Australia and New Zealand country director Kurt Schlosser was sentenced to 2 years and 6 months imprisonment after being found guilty of 2 counts of insider trading. The maximum penalty of each offence is 15 years imprisonment. Rather than being transferred to prison, Mr. Schlosser was released immediately upon entering into a recognizance on the condition that he be of good behaviour for 2 years and 6 months. Following sentencing, Australian Securities and Investments Commission Deputy Chair Sarah Court said, quote, "ASIC is committed to acting against conduct that damages the integrity of Australia's financial markets. Insider trading undermines investor confidence and gives individuals an unfair advantage. This criminal outcome demonstrates the serious consequences for trading when in possession of inside information." Bullshit. And that was this week's news. Indeed it was. And just a quick note, so that we ensure that we comply with all liable laws, any comments we make about sentencing of any individuals will confine strictly to the general principle of sentencing and what may or may not be a harsh penalty. We will not be discussing any individual or their character, apart from the fact that certain people are convicted criminals. It's because we have to take it seriously. At Tokwa, we have a responsibility, and we are published on YouTube. So let's keep it civil, people, because I don't want to have to edit this at all, actually. Having said that, welcome everyone. Welcome anyone that is new. And if you are new, please do unmute yourselves. And if you're comfortable, introduce yourself and tell us about the awesome car you have or the awesome car you are about to get.
Okay, I'll go first. Can you hear me?
Yes, David, welcome.
Great. Yeah, my name's David. Had my Model 3 since last August. Very, very happy with it. I'm a heavy user of TAC and lane following and so on. I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with TAC and the various safety features, the active safety features, but they do seem to have improved over the last few months since I got it. So, yeah, very happy.
Absolutely, that's awesome. And I dare say perhaps maybe the features haven't improved as much as your tolerance of their nuanced behaviour has. But
Yes, I have got
congratulations
used to being
nonetheless.
able to recognise when I have to intervene.
Absolutely, and that's something that we've all learnt. But yeah, welcome again. Anyone else that's new, please say hello. Or perhaps a little bit later. And if you do sort of work out how to unmute and you want to say hello, just again, just shout out. It's all good. Alrighty. Anyone got any questions or comments this early in the piece?
Hi, I'm new and I just missed that introduction.
Welcome, Michelle.
Hi, thanks. I have just bought a secondhand Tesla Model 3 and I've had it now for about 6 weeks. Pulled up the other day to charge up in Albany and it was a BYO cable. No, and I don't know what I need. Where do I buy it? Can I buy it from a store or do I have to buy it online? Yeah, that's my big question.
All right. Well, you've come to the right place, and sorry to hear you had that experience. There also was on PlugShare, which I'm not sure if you're aware of PlugShare, or you must be because you found the cable.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, you found the charger. There's also a Tesla destination charger at the visitor centre in
Yeah.
Albany.
Yes, I'm aware of that, but what I looked at, and it was my own fault. I mean, I didn't scroll down and look at the details, but it was right where I needed to go shopping. And I thought, yay, this is great. And got there and needed to BYO cable.
Michelle, the cable that you need, and it's worthwhile getting because you'll end up getting it down the track anyway. So you might as well get it straight away and make use of it from right the beginning. It's called a type 2 cable or a type 2 to type 2 cable, also known as a Manicast cable. You can get them for about $50, $60 less at different sites online. We used to sell them at a discounted rate as a club. I don't think we've got any more available at the moment. But the best thing to do is just to jump on Tesla's official shop, and they've got a light blue Manicast or type 2 cable. I think it's about $320 from memory. But yeah, that's probably the best way to go.
Yeah, sorry, is that the only cable I'm going to need, or am I likely to come across something else on the road?
It all depends where you intend to be driving and where you intend to be traveling. Are you going to be doing, are you based around Albany or are you?
Yeah, I live down near Walpole, between Walpole and Denmark.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if you can see the cable that Harold has put up, $310, sorry, not $320. But yeah, that's the cable that you want. If you're living in Walpole, you definitely want to get yourself a, well, at least as a very minimum, are you familiar with the 3-phase power points, the orange?
I'm looking at getting one installed at home.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
So as a minimum, you can get what's called a pigtail or an extension for your UMC. The UMC is the Universal Mobile Connector, which, being a second-hand car, hopefully came with the car.
Yeah.
The one in the black. Yeah. So that should have 2 pigtails at the moment, a 10 amp, which is just your standard household outlet, as well as a 15 amp one, which is more common around caravan parks.
Yep.
And then, so what you can get for around the $250 to $300 mark, again, is just a 3-phase tail for that. The only issue with that is your UMC, your mobile connector, is a single-phase device. And if you're charging, if it's an on-grid site, it's not going to be an issue. But if you're charging, especially on a off-grid site where they're using a diesel generator or something of that type, and you start pulling 11 kilowatts through just one of those 3 phases, it results in a phase imbalance. And yeah, you could actually trip the generator. So what you want to get is a proper 3-phase cable if you're going to be charging at those locations fairly often. We used to have them. So there's a type that Harold organised for the club. It's called a CONS cable, KHONS. They are still available online. The cheapest we've seen them is about $1,400. So it's good that you're sitting down. But we were able to get them for the club at about the $850 mark historically. But I'll let Harold speak to where we're at with trying to renegotiate another shipment of those.
Sorry, I thought you
Harold?
said shipment. I didn't know you said shipment.
For a shitload.
So we're still progressing on that very slowly. Now, one thing, Michelle, is that good news for you is that the WA EV network, which is a project paid for by the West Australian government and delivered by Synergy, jointly by Synergy and Horizon Power, is coming to Walpole.
Yes,
So,
I know.
and
Yay.
it'll be actually coming in less than the next 6 months.
They've already started. They've started the works there.
Yes, they have. So I was sort of saying 6 months, sort of quite sandbaggingly. It will be in the next few months. So the great news about that is that actually, as Peter's described, the Type 2 cable is going to be useful because you can charge there. Although having said that, if you live at home, you just charge at home. It's the cheapest
I
thing to ever
do.
be.
That's what I'm doing at the moment. I live about 25 k's from Walpole. So I'm in and out every day. I work in Walpole, so it's a 50k round trip. And I just charge overnight at home.
Yep.
The
Awesome.
charges in Walpole are going to be great for when I want to go away and then I come back to town and charge up. But I am suffering badly from charge anxiety. Everywhere
Harold?
I go, it's like, oh my goodness.
Yes, sorry, Michelle. Yes, Steve, you
Can I
go,
share
Steve.
the TOCWA charging page, which has some really good information to supplement what Peter's been talking about how charging all works from our TOCWA website?
Okay.
Yeah, you can, or we can. We can just go to TOCWA.
There it is.
Yep.
So what I'm suggesting is there's a lot of good information there which will help to clarify some thoughts and further add to what Pete's had to say.
Cool. Okay.
And that's on the TOCWA website. So great resource.
Thank you.
So I ordered a Type 2 cable from Tesla nearly 2 weeks ago now, and I still haven't received it. So I'm actually driving down to Pemberton at the end of the month and staying at Carry Valley where you need one of these cables. So I'm hoping it will arrive by then.
No, you don't, because Carry Valley actually has a 50 kilowatt tritium charger.
Well, they do. Okay.
And
So-
the chargers at Pemberton, are they BYO cables as well?
No,
Not the
there's
DC,
REC
not the
one there.
DC. So if it's DC chargers, so we'll just bring up PlugShare for a moment, and you'll see a sea of colours. All the locations where you see orange pins, they are fast DC charger locations, and they don't require any cables. So, for example, if we just go to CCS, which means Combined Charging System, and Tesla Fast DC Charger, Pemberton at the Apex Park car park, and we'll just check what the rating is. Yep, so on the 6th of March, Shane has checked it, and you can actually see the charger right here on the left. This is the Fast DC Charger. The one you see on the right is actually the AC charger, and that does require a Type 2 cable. But naturally enough, the price is the same for either charging method, so you'd naturally gravitate to the fast DC method, which does not need a cable.
So the Carry Valley Resort does have a charger there that requires a Type 2 cable, and I was hoping to charge the car overnight there.
Right, yes. So in that case, you'll either need to get your cable in time for the trip or delay your trip, or charge, like I said, just around the corner at the near the Pemberton Hotel
Yep.
at this stage.
Right.
Otherwise, you can borrow a Type 2 cable from the club for free as a member for road trips.
Mhm.
But I'm not sure, David. Are you based in Perth, or you?
Yeah, I'm based
Oh,
in-
okay. Well, then you certainly can borrow for free a Type 2 cable, Type 2 cable
Excellent.
for road trips.
Great, thanks.
Alrighty. Oh, sorry, Pete.
Just a
Can you hear me?
Oh,
Yes.
sorry. Yes, Mr. Zoom user. Sorry.
Having heaps of trouble with Zoom. I set it up nicely with my name and a background picture and everything else, and wipes it every time. My wife uses Zoom, and every time I go back to it. Anyway, I have been talking to Paul by email the last couple of days. As for that Michelle's cable, I've got one. I live in Denmark, and we have 2 chargers here that are untethered, and you have to have your own cable. And last long weekend, there was people wandering around like, where the bloody hell do I go? You know, I helped one guy out with my cable, but you know, you can't keep doing that. We charge all the time at home, Michelle. We have tons of solar panels and a Zappy charger in the garage, and I just every other day I plug it in for a couple of hours. We have 8 kilowatts on the roof and battery backup, and when the home battery is charged, we just put it in the car and it's no trouble. My only problem, I've got a new Model 3 that I only got 4 months ago, and not quite 4 months ago, and I charge it to 100% all the time, which I believe the new battery can be done.
Is that a standard range Model 3?
Yes, just the
Yes,
basic.
you can. Yes, you can. Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yep.
Peasant's model, yeah. I'm getting about 440, although we went for a trip just to check a charger out. We drove to Pemberton and it didn't work, so that was a bummer. But we got back home, like it's 185 k's, so it's 360, and it was showing 10% when we got home. So I was quite happy with that. As I said to Paul in an email, we're planning on visiting family in Adelaide next month, and I would be looking to borrow a cable. I have no use for a 3-phase cable other than the trip, and I am a member of the club. So where do I stand with that? I'm in Denmark.
Yeah, just send an email. Actually, ring me on 62623131. That's the club's hotline number.
Mm.
And talk to me and I'll arrange it for you.
Okay.
So again, that's a road trip. That's a road trip. So you can borrow a Cons 3-phase cable.
Okay, well, we'll wait for 3.5 weeks, I think. Depends on how many stops we have to do on the way over and the way back. We don't want to see the family for too long.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
No worries. Alrighty. Anyone else that's new or has worked out how to unmute and wants to say hello, please do. Or I think Colin, no, hang on a sec. You're not mute. You're still muted. Sorry, so we can't hear you.
Right, that's it.
That's it.
No, I'm used to
Welcome.
riding motorcycles, and this is the next best thing as far as I'm concerned. So I've got a Model
Well, they're
3.
as quick as motorcycles. I'll give you a little
Yes,
tip
yes,
if it's
yes,
a performance
yes.
model.
Yes. No, it's not.
My electric Harley was quicker though.
Stop it, Richard. So yes, go on,
Ran,
Colin.
Richard, when it ran.
Yeah,
Yeah, cool. So tell us about your car. So you've said you've come out of motorbikes. So
I
tell us
love
about
it.
your
I
car.
love it. It's just fabulous. It's it's just amazing. I just adore it.
What have you got, Colin? Is it a model?
Just a basic 3. Basic 3.
Oh, just a 3-wheel drive.
No frills. Well, limited.
Wow.
Yeah.
But the thing is, even though it's the base model, it still goes like a rocket.
Yes.
You can overtake cars with ease And the
Yeah.
throttle response is just second to none for
Yeah,
a car of its
yeah,
size. It really
yeah.
is.
So just like a motorcycle. Yeah, wonderful. Yeah.
More wheels.
I am so hearing you, Colin.
I really don't understand what you guys are talking about, this three-phase thing. I mean, I've got three-phase at home, and but I don't see how it connects to needing three-phase or three-phase wire connection when you're traveling around. I didn't get that, but maybe I'll learn
so
one day.
no. So to explain, so if we have a look at, if we go back to PlugShare, at the moment I'm just showing the DC, the fast DC. Oh, what's that? Tom Price, fast DC charger by Rio Tinto.
Was in the
You've
news
heard it.
today, Harold.
Yeah, saw that thing.
Yeah,
There you go.
they put
Oh,
one
it's
in,
not very
Harold
fast
do.
DC. It's
Now they put
it's a
one
22 kilowatt
22 kilowatt.
DC. So we'd call that a slow DC charger, but still it's better than.
Well, it's still AC speed technically, Harold, because there's plenty of Teslas that can charge at 22 kilowatts AC, some of the older ones. So
That's right. So if we go into PlugShare and you look at the filters, so I'm just going to drop them and just show three-phase.
Right.
Whoops. So all of these locations have generally a three-phase outlet. So imagine you're driving to, actually currently if you drive to Kalgoorlie, you could say charge at Southern Cross Oval.
Yeah.
And that is a Clipsal 32 amp three-phase outlet. So then this is what is known as a cons cable. This is something that you can borrow for free for road trips.
Yeah.
And that will then draw 11 kilowatts, which in a Model 3 is approximately 80 kilometers of range added per hour.
Right.
And that's three-phase, so it has three phases.
Yeah. Right.
That's also the sort of charging you'd get if you had a three-phase house and you bought Tesla's HPWC, which is the Tesla home charger, installed home charger.
Right. No, which I don't. Yeah.
So that's what the three-phase is all about. So it as it turns out, there is a lot of three-phase around the place. A lot of ovals reserves have three-phase sockets for things like fairs and festivals and all that sort of stuff. For things like food trucks, you need three-phase.
Oh, right.
So all of these green locations dotted around the state do have three-phase outlets. And of course, because if I turn on the supercharger and CCS fast DC pins, of course you can see that basically north of Perth or north of Geraldton, there's virtually nothing all the way to Hughenden.
Yeah.
So that's the situation. So really we're using, to be perfectly honest, the three-phase outlets, it's an agricultural sort of solution to what ought to be a vastly better thing, but you've got to make do with what you have at the time you have it.
Yeah. Sure.
we should say that if you were in Wagga or Newcastle or in New South Wales or in Victoria somewhere, regional or not, we wouldn't even be having this conversation because there's just so many Tesla superchargers everywhere. Where you pull in, there'll be a minimum of 3 of them at any one location, or 3 stalls at any one charger, and you'll be able to charge, hundreds of kilometers an hour at a minimum. So 10 to 20 minutes, you'll never spend more than half an hour anywhere.
Right.
Even if you go from basically next to zero all the way to 100%, but 99% of the time you'll be spending 15 minutes or so. But you can see them. They're just peppered everywhere, and you don't have to worry about.
If we scroll sort of to WA, well, it's just nothing. Bearing in mind this Tom Price one is what you'd call a slow DC charger, and you go up north and there's nothing. But having said that, the WA EV network is coming, and it will basically be completed in less than the next 12 months. And that will go everywhere from Eucla to Perth to Kalgoorlie to Kununurra.
And it misses out the inside of Western Australia completely.
That being the Great Northern Highway, yes, Nigel.
Like the guy that wanted to get to Newman last week.
Yes.
Precisely.
Yep.
Why would you want to?
But at least it is a trail that is being blazed literally as we speak.
Yeah.
Good.
Pete, you've got something you're sharing with us?
Sorry, yeah, just, Michelle, this is what I was talking about before. So these are the
chuck it in the chat.
These are the pigtails. The three-face pigtails. So you can see, for example, in this photo here, that black cable, that's your, oops, here we go. The black cable is your UMC, and then into that, there's some other extension cord there, but you can put one of these in there. And but yeah, the problem is that the cable is single phase, so even though it's a three-phase pin, it can only pull on one of the.
It's 8 o'clock.
Right.
Yeah, causing a phase imbalance, which most of the time isn't an issue, but on an off-grid site, you could trip the generator.
Okay.
Yeah, take the whole site offline, and then you won't be very popular.
Yeah, no.
Okay. So, alrighty. Anyone else got any other questions or comments at the moment?
Harold, if I can, well, I'm going to go out my car and into inside on the computer, but I'm actually using Zoom. That's been the latest update.
Cool.
Yeah.
And here you are. So
yeah.
we've got you spotlighted for everyone, so we can see you very clearly. So
Now-
don't pick your nose. Oh, we just went
there
in
you go.
colour.
Yeah,
Just
no,
went to
what I've
colour.
done, I've put my headlights on,
Very good.
which is reflecting off the garage door up onto the cameras on the outside, which actually seem to gauge. If I turn those off, I go back to grayscale, put them on, and I'm sort of in colour. During the day when I tested this out, I was in perfect colour, just like you all are. But I had the garage door up and it was bright, sunny day. So, it's fairly limited. I mean, it's good if you're out and about and you need to do a quick Zoom chat. I've got no way of typing anything into chat or even seeing that there is a chat. I've got a list of participants, which I can scroll through. I've got a mute button and a stop video and an end button, and that's it. Now, I did have to log in again. Now, you said, Harold, that there was a way of getting it to remember the login.
I thought I recalled there was a little checkbox that said stay logged in or something like that. So that might help. That was when you...
I'll have another look when I do it again and see if that's there.
And Nigel, if you put it into Drive now and start driving, you should still stay online, but the video go.
Yeah, I've got the charge cable plugged in, so
that's not going to go anywhere.
it's not going to go anywhere.
But yeah, it should. The audio should keep on working, but the video will obviously disappear.
Right.
So,
okay.
like a telephone call.
And the other annoying thing is I am looking directly at the screen, but the camera is looking directly at the top of my head.
Yes.
Because
exactly.
the camera should be higher
to there.
It's just a tiny little dot up the top. So if you look up a bit more, a bit more. There you go.
Yeah, it's where it's underneath your rear view mirror.
Yeah,
that's it.
I know where it is. It's there.
Yes.
So I can.
You can't. Yeah.
There you go. Put my finger over it.
Do you have a hacksaw? Have you got a hacksaw, Nigel?
What? And lift the screen up here?
Yeah, just get the hacksaw, cut the base of the screen, right, and then just lift it up.
Well,
it'll
actually,
be a lot
I've
better.
got this nice swivel screen at the moment, so I could just undo the bolts and pull it off.
There you go. Or better still, pull the camera, just undo the shroud near your rear view mirror,
yeah,
and pull the camera out and lower it to it just sits above your screen. like an iPad.
Clip
I mean,
it on.
look, it's a start. I'm sure, like everything else, it will improve with time as they add more features. But at the moment, yeah, it's limited. But, you know, if you're out and about or on holiday and you want to join in and you've left your laptop behind or your phone's not, try this. I mean, you do have to have premium connectivity. So I paid today for a month, $9.99. I was wondering if I could get some reimbursement on that from Tocqueville.
There's precisely two chances of that,
Yeah.
Nigel.
Okay.
Therefore,
That's 10 out of 10 and 100 out of 100. Yes.
Yes, there's two chances. You can either use Harold's community credit card or Tokua's community credit card.
Yeah, I'll need to get the numbers off of Jared. He's always got them.
And the bad news is that my credit card's expiry date is at the end of this month. So I'm really sorry you've only got 7 days.
It's the 1st of April, Harold.
Exactly right. Exactly
Yeah, so
right.
I'm gonna check out from here and I'm gonna go inside and I'll rejoin in a few minutes. So you discuss what you think of me, but you've only got a couple of minutes.
Very good. Well, actually, just as an experiment, please, Nigel, can you just get out of the car, leave your door open, just unplug the charge port, and then come back in, put your car in drive. What I want to see is, we know that you will not be able to see us anymore on the screen. I guess the question is, will the camera still be active for you?
Yeah, it'd be good to know.
Because I think some logic may say that it might suppress the camera since you're driving. Otherwise, it could make for some entertaining Zoom.
Unplugged. I am pressing the brake pedal and
and now he's gone.
he's gone.
That's because he's
Harold, you knew that was going to happen.
No, they actually said that you would continue with audio. So no, here it. No, there is that him there. No, he's at the bottom.
Moving
yeah.
around.
So how about that?
So what it's done, Nigel, is it's basically put your default font. You're now gone to the bottom of the screen. Oh, now where have you gone?
Oh, there he is.
Oh no, there you're back. Yes. So it actually showed your avatar, or your let's call it your photo.
I lost all voice from you. It just kept saying, "This is being recorded." That woman's voice. I lost the ability to stop video, mute, and so on. It just all went.
So it might not be available area, maybe.
No. What it might be, Pete, is there might be a software bug that they haven't. When it's recorded, and you maybe change status, you have to acknowledge that it's been recorded and accept that you will continue. Everyone has to do that. And maybe Tesla haven't considered that. So maybe Nigel has no method of accepting that it's being recorded, and therefore he gets stuck with it sort of being in La La Land as an undocumented feature, perhaps.
Well, there you go. That's an undocumented feature. You can't do it whilst driving at the moment.
If it's being recorded, I think.
Yes. Maybe one day we'll have to try without it being recorded and see what happens.
Yeah.
Well, we could do that right now because the people on YouTube would hardly notice, would they? If we just put it on pause. Oh no, pause might not count as not being recorded.
Yeah.
Let's
Don't worry
try
about it now.
All right, we'll do it another time.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, Toodaloo, you come back to a higher resolution image, which may or may not be better for us. And
it's certainly better than looking at the top of my head.
We'll see you soon.
Be there, back in a minute.
Cheers. All righty. Now, Nigel is rather fast at doing this, but there might possibly be a faster way that you can actually use a Tesla, and that is this one.
So drag strip mode The first thing it does is you can hear the cooling fans running in the background. It cools the drive units as much as possible because they make the most power when they're coolest. In addition to that, we warm the battery pack up just a little bit just to get it into its optimum range for performance. Then when you pull up to the line, we have what's called cheetah stance, where you hold your foot firmly on the brake and then you stand on the gas pedal and the car will enter launch mode. You'll feel it squat because it applies power to the motors, and then the front of the car will lower down towards the ground. What this does is it pre-loads the car low and it improves front axle traction so that when you launch, instead of the front of the car coming up and you lose traction off the front wheels, it actually holds the front of the car down as you accelerate and gives you better grip all the way through the 0 to 60.
And there you go.
Just what I've always needed.
And look at that! In all that time, Nigel's actually made it to his PC.
Yes, I'm back. Be careful what you say now.
Precisely. Alrighty, and speaking of other, actually, I might do it. There's another ridiculous video I have, but we'll save that for a little bit later.
Okay, maybe Harold, then I've got a question for the Brains Trust. Trusts. I'm a bit of a masochist, and I'm going to be taking a camper trailer around, and it has an electric brake, and it has the electric brake cabling connected up on its second hand. I need an electric brake controller, and this will have to be fitted into my Tesla, won't it?
Yes.
And who's going to do that? Who do we trust to do that?
That's a very good question, Steve. I'd like to be like a modern teacher and go, so Steve, how do you think you might want to approach this problem?
Oh, by asking the Brains Trust.
No. You need to sort of, explore other possibilities of, synthesizing this problem-solving activity.
Well, like
Has
it's
anyone
not school then.
gotten a break?
You could try, there's a company called Voltaic. I'm trying to Google to see where they are. I can't remember where they are. But VOLTAIC.
Yep, I've made a note.
Yeah, they did my Voltaic Auto Electrical. They're in Welshpool. There you go. They did my front auto opener. That's it. Yeah. So give them a call and see if they can help.
Yep.
Alternatively, you could also try Perth Pro. I can't remember the guy's name there. He's got a YouTube channel. He's quite clever, the owner there. You could give him a try. That's where I ended up getting my I don't think that's it. Oh no,
Auto electric parts. Yeah,
that's it. Yep. So yeah, you could try him. He ended up rewiring the inverter for me so that I could use the Starlink satellite when we went around Australia in the Model Y, because that's got the 15.5 volt lithium ion battery rather than the 12 volt lead acid.
Okay, thanks. Obviously, it's dependent on getting my Model Y performance and the tow hitch, because I wanted to get that stuff first before I then start running extra wires through.
Did you get have you got a confirmed delivery, Steve?
I have a range, but I've got a VIN, and according to Mollace, it's due to into Fremantle 23 April, I think I looked at earlier.
Oh, you're the second batch.
Yes.
Right, very good.
Yes. Yeah, I was a late starter.
It's okay. It's still worth it. And look, let's face it. I think according to Mollace, the first batch of performance wires are arriving on the 3rd of April. So really, it's almost exactly 3 weeks difference.
With that 1 month in hiatus somewhere in Singapore.
In sunny Singapore, enjoying the environs of Singapore.
Yes, beautiful.
And have you gotten yourself an email from Tesla saying that they're inviting you to order a tow hitch
No, I
for your
haven't
car?
yet. I haven't yet. I'm getting the Collins coming out to do the air conditioning service, the air filters, because we've had it for 2 years and I've started to get the cheesy smell. So he's coming over and we'll talk about a couple of options with that. And I was at the showrooms and I was about a month ago. And yes, they haven't got the tow hitches yet, is what they were saying, but they're looking forward to getting them. And they won't do it as a mobile, according to the service people.
That's
They
right.
want to do it in the garage, their garage. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to.
Has anybody actually got the tow hitch fitted yet?
Not yet, but Leonie's
I've
booked in.
got my appointment next week.
Ooh,
Yeah.
awesome.
Ooh. Let's hope they
Yeah.
don't push it. Let's hope they don't
Well,
push
no,
it.
I did
No, they
actually have
won't.
my appointment for last week, and they pushed it.
Yeah, so here's a pro tip. I think Tesla get their parts on a Monday, so sometimes it just depends on whether certain consignments made it on the truck.
Hmm.
And therefore, if it didn't make it on the truck, they'll push. If it did make it on the truck and the truck's on time, they will fulfill the appointment. And they, I think themselves, don't always know what makes it on the truck or not, just depending on what happens.
Yeah, my appointment's for Thursday next week.
Awesome.
It
Very
was for
good.
Tuesday a week or two ago, because I got the email and I called them and they said, "Yep, we've actually got it all." And then they called me the following week and go, "No, we fibbed." So
No, I think they figured they'd ordered it all and it was being scheduled, but then it just didn't make it.
yeah. So yeah, my appointment's for Thursday next week. So
Yep.
I shall wait with bated breath for about Tuesday for it to get pushed another week.
Yeah, and Leonie's on the Friday. So
Next week,
yeah,
the 31st.
yeah.
So speaking of waiting for things, if we have a look at Tesla's website and we go to custom order a Model 3, if you have a look, you'll notice that Tesla still have an estimated delivery of March to April. Now the March is obviously not a lot of time left,
No.
but the April is very interesting. And the basic implication is that if you do order a Model 3, you will get it rather quickly, which is a very welcome development. Quite awesome, really. So
That's good news when you've got 9 to 12 months from delivery date still showing on your account. Sorry about that, I couldn't resist.
yes, but that probably will change
What
quite
about the
dramatic.
longer range one?
They're all the same. So
Oh,
all
really?
three models are March to April. Obviously, the March isn't going to stick for much longer.
No.
Now, if you go to Model Y, then that still maintains the further outlook, which is April to June on both the Y and the performance. Sorry, the performance is actually March to April. So I dare say there's quite a few performance cars that are unallocated coming in that will be available to buyers at this stage. So
Well,
that's
there
what
are
that's
quite
basically.
a few ships coming straight from China to Fremantle and not going anywhere else, and they bringing in 400 or 500 cars at a time.
Absolutely. So if we look at the inventory and you've got less than 50 Ks and you've got quite a few Model 3s that are available for delivery in the next month or so, and then if we flick over to Model Ys, there are even more Model Ys that are available.
Wow.
Of different types. So these are basically unallocated, guaranteed that you can put an order in and you'll get this in the next. Well, we know that there's a ship coming on the 3rd of April due, and one at Nigel, it was the 23rd of April, you said, according to Moles?
I didn't say any particular.
Oh, someone else said that.
Steve did.
Sorry, Steve. Sorry, that was you, Steve. You're muted. Yes. So I'll take that as a yes. Yeah, well, I just did. Okay, we'll just call it. It was the 23rd of April. So clearly there are quite a few Model Y performance vehicles and Model Ys in general that aren't allocated, which is great because you can do you can do like, I forget the Allison, I think it was,
Yeah.
bought
Yeah.
a car with basically 24 hours notice, picked it up the
Should I
next
be
day.
Should I be a cheeky bugger and order one? Just
Why not? You only live
Yep.
once. There you go. There's Moles.
Yep,
I'm-
that's what it's telling me, Harold. So
Yes, 23rd of April. I
Right.
think, yes, that's scheduled. So it's actually arrived. It's already arrived in Singapore. It's just waiting to be picked up. Well, actually, the 16th was in the past. Oh, apologies. That's in the future. So that you're going to get a 4-week holiday too.
yeah, great.
Awesome. It seems that cars will be well rested in Singapore.
And then he gets to work out when he gets here. We just saw dray strip mode, didn't we?
Precisely.
yeah, that was
precisely.
that was the plaid.
Sure, it'll trickle down to our performance cars.
Well, actually,
I don't
oops, sorry. I'll just rewind this little bit for a moment.
know. I'd love it if it was.
You know, the I forget what the strait is between, or the region of sea between, it's Arafura Sea or whatever, between us and Singapore via Bali and all that sort of stuff. So if it was really super shallow, perhaps you could transport the cars something like this.
Oh, gee, that's ugly.
Oh, it gets better. Why would you do that?
It goes upside
Oh,
down as well, Harold.
Yeah.
It does. I'm going
got that
to
It's
get
mental.
it upside down. It was actually beforehand. It's a bit strange, really. Here we go.
And use it for snorkeling.
It's just a little bit. That's even worse. That just plays with your head.
Does
But
work
enough of
though,
that.
you know.
It's a bit short.
You could do that in a piston engine.
No, you can imagine the fuel all running out, the oil dripping
all the
out.
oil, yeah.
Bearing in mind, this guy's got 5 million subscribers, and I
Probably
forget
worth
how
it.
many million views it's at. 6.4 million views. So I guess monetarily it might have been worth it to wreck a perfectly good Model 3. Alrighty.
Pretty good for a dick.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Any other questions or comments? We did have a track day last Saturday, which, for anyone that was there, if you'd maybe like
Still
to tell us how good it was, as if we didn't know.
It was pretty good. We had a really good turnout. I was marshalling the cats, so that was fun. So my voice got a workout. Alex did a great job of helping out, and it was a good team effort actually with everyone. I think it was. I think Rail won. It was a good day. I think people did quite well. Oh, James was driving. He can actually say if he enjoyed it or not.
Performances were so slow. Don't bother getting performances because they were so slow. I was catching them.
Very good. Were there any spectacular
The
understeering or anything like that?
We did have a Volvo there, which was a bit random. So, he took out a couple of cones and that stuff. We had one car go off and did a 360 and got back on the track. One guy actually collected a cone, so he's got a nice little mark along his door and all that sort of stuff. So, but I think it was mainly, I think it was 80% of the drivers were new as in track as well. So that was really good. And I think, they had a good time. Yeah, it was really cool. I think it was one of those things that people didn't realize how quick the cars are as well. So people are chatting, and then you're sort of like, come on, get in your cars, get there and get ready, to keep it flowing. So we're only 15 minutes over time in the end after the 2 sessions. So that was pretty good. I think. So, yeah.
Awesome. That's awesome. You know, it's something that we love hosting these sort of things. It's always hard to try and predict how many people will turn up on the day.
Yeah.
But
I think
sounds
one session, like with 16 cars, would be easier because the second one wasn't as full. And then maybe
Yes.
do it twice a year or something instead of just once. And then that would it might be a good way of getting different people in the cars and that sort of stuff.
Well,
Can I just put it out there? It'd be really good if you did it during the school holidays.
Yes, although it wasn't on a Saturday, Michelle. So I guess
I
you
know,
got
but
school
I'm
sport.
like 450 kilometres away or something like
Sorry,
that.
of course, yes,
Good
no,
drive.
totally. Well, just imagine the Albany Highway. That you could do some pretty hot
Oh
elapsed
my
time on
God,
that.
don't say that. You should see the news reports down here about that bloody road.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, it seems that James wasn't kidding when he said that he was driving rather spiritedly, because his brakes seem to get a little bit
Ooh.
hot. James, you're supposed to use regen. Come on.
Yeah, a few people.
That's
use
very
their
Yeah, a
good.
few people's
Yeah.
brakes were a bit hot, shall we say. You could smell them as they come off the track.
Maybe
was
we need
actually
the
quite-
fireys with some with a fire tender to hose them down a little bit.
It was actually quite interesting. You had the cars going around the track and that sort of stuff, and then off to the side they did have like some motorcycle people learning, on their motorcycles, and just them starting up was louder than our cars spinning around the track and that stuff. So it was just amazing, the contrast sort of thing, just going like the old world and the new world sort of thing. So yeah, that was really
Absolutely.
cool.
Bring it on.
Fantastic. Well, we certainly will do that again for sure, in a little bit later in the year.
Yeah, people had a good time.
Absolutely. And of course, we've
so
got
talking about having a good time. I work at a school and we're having a STEM night tomorrow night, science, technology, engineering and mathematics. So I'm taking my little Model 3 there and I'm going to show it off big time. I think I'm the only EV in town.
No.
Walpole, mate, seriously, yes.
there are more. There is
So
a need.
my class are really happy. I'm a school teacher. My class are really happy because their teacher's bringing a Tesla to the STEM night.
Oh, that'd be great.
Very good. And the good thing is, I mean, there's lots of projects you could do around that with electrification, transitioning to electricity, renewable energy, Nikola Tesla.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's a lot you could speak about Elon Musk with, he's an underachiever. He's got Tesla, he's got SpaceX, he's got Neuralink, he's got the Boring Company. He's had PayPal and other things.
Yes. And just really basic stuff, technology and the changes in the world.
And the fact that the main screen is like an iPad, or it's like the iPhone was to the Nokia mobile phone.
Yep.
The change is going to come so fast, though. It's going to be like changing from the old box television to a plasma or a LCD. It happened over 3 years, basically. And I think by the end of this decade, nobody's going to want it.
Absolutely.
How many people still have a cathode ray picture tube TV?
I couldn't give away. My partner had just before the new ones came in, she bought a German, not a Blaupunkt, but a $4,500 TV.
A Grundig, perhaps, or anyway.
Anyway, it was a magnificent thing. And she saw I was the first one I knew bought a plasma. I saw it, I thought I've got to have one of those, and mounted it above the fireplace. had a party and they used to do a test pattern, which is brilliant. And it was just flowers and it was on, and everybody's arrived and standing around having drinks, and all of a sudden this helicopter appeared and everybody's standing in the lounge room like, shit, I've got to get one of them. She couldn't give the television away. Could not even at the tip shop here 6 or 7 years later, $4,500 TV 25 years ago, and they changed just like that. No one's got it, So the take up of electric cars, not just Tesla, but everything, will just happen so fast that people who are scoffing at the moment, that they'll be eating their words, Anyway.
Well, I think it was mentioned in last week's show, or I'm not entirely. Yes, I think it was. Now, of course, Tesla's delivery figures in Australia are a bit skewed because they're sort of seasonal within quarters, depending on shipping arrangements and production schedules and all that sort of thing. Be that as it may, in February, Tesla outsold, the Model 3 outsold Camry, Corolla. It was Toyota's top 5 sedans, I think it was. Camry, Corolla, the BZ something, and the 89 or 87, whatever it's called, combined.
Yeah.
And that was just a Model 3 in February.
No,
But it is better to look at quarterly figures than, say, monthly ones in particular, but it's just going to keep going.
Yeah. Honda, you've got nothing to sell, they'll be gone. They'll be gone the way of Hudson or Morris or all those companies.
I think Honda have got one out. I'm pretty sure Honda have one. Oh, it may not be in Australia, but they have got one.
What, an EV?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have.
Oh yeah, the Honda E. It's like a little mini car, but it's hell expensive. So yeah, they don't want to sell EVs. Honda and Toyota.
No, they don't want to.
They're going to go the way of Dodo. My opinion.
Yeah, well, look, some are going to go broke. Well, let's face it. I think, is it Ford or General Motors? They've gone
General
broke.
Motors.
Yeah, General Motors is a bad way.
Once or twice.
Yeah, they did go bankrupt in 2009. Yeah, they're going that way because they're already giving redundancies to people.
Yes, and we. Sorry, go on.
So go.
I was just going to say, in fairness, actually, my old neighbours actually back in the UK have got a Honda E, and yeah, they said they love it. They said it's expensive, low range, but but for them it's great. So,
and was that their first EV?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
I was going to say anyone's first EV is awesome. And then if you try a Tesla,
still got mine.
My first car was just nothing in comparison to the Tesla.
Oh yeah,
I loved it.
Points for having the first Prius.
So I say again.
Do I get any points for being the first person to buy a Prius?
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh.
Wow.
Well, hang on. A Prius isn't really an EV though. It's a hybrid.
No,
I know.
it's a hybrid.
28 years ago, it was a good, I only ever considered it a transition vehicle. It was my company car, so I wasn't spending my own money. I didn't care. But, and it was good. It was, first thing that surprised me was the torque that you got from the batteries, because I didn't expect it. But no, it was a good car. I got a lot of rubbish in. People called it the cockroach because it was black. Now, I was in New York not long after that, and we were standing outside where the cars come out of Grand Central Station, and you got all these bright yellow Priuses coming out, and I got the phone and couldn't take a video clip long enough. There were so many of them. I went back to work and said, but anyway. Yeah.
But seriously, why did Toyota feel, and why did so many EV manufacturers at the time somehow think they had to punish people for getting a hybrid or an EV by making it the most butt ugly thing since, Citroen brought out I forget what that car is in the 1970s, the one with the airbag suspension that my father almost bought, and I'm glad he didn't.
DS6, the problem.
Something like that, yeah, with the cockroach eyes and
with the covered rear wheels.
Covered rear wheels
Aero
that you could drive three-wheeled. You could take a wheel off and it would still sort of drive on three wheels because of the air suspension. Thankfully, Tesla
Which
just...
brings me to
Yes.
the anxiety that I have living in the country and not having a spare tire.
Okay, that's not an EV thing. That unfortunately is a modern car thing. It's becoming increasingly prevalent for modern vehicles to say, well, the number of times particularly a city car gets a catastrophic flat is very low compared to just a pesky tech screw.
Yeah.
And you just drive to the nearest place if you can be bothered. I actually drove in my Model Y. I scored a tech screw early in December as my wife and I were just about to catch a plane to Europe. And I left it parked on that tech screw, or it wasn't probably on it, it was around it, for a month, and fully expecting it to be just flat and wreck the sidewalls. And actually it was 50 PSI that I left it. And I only fixed it about a month after that. So it was sort of 2 months on a tech screw.
Yeah,
And it was actually one of those big ones.
It's doing my head in at the moment. I'm just trying to find what's the solution to this.
Michelle,
In 15 years, I went around Australia pretty much every year, and I got 2 flat tires, but it was from right up north off the main roads. It was gravel roads, and they were all from rocks.
Yeah.
And I lazily didn't drop my tire pressure, which I knew I should have. But other than that, I did a Harold and got a tech screw for my own driveway, and I fixed it in Wollongong.
Yeah.
But that's not an electric car. That's in a motorhome. But
I know, and that's the reality of it. But it's just that, 50 years of knowing you've got a spare tire in the boot.
It is dramatic, yes.
And not having one. Yeah.
Are you Model 3 or Model Y, Michelle? Are you 3 or Y? Model 3.
3.
So you can go to modernspare.com. And this is a 2017 to 2023 Model 3.
Yep.
Now, bear in mind, this is in US dollars. And if you have the complete kit, it will cost $469.95, which sounds really, really reasonable. The problem is the shipping costs a similar amount of US dollars. So the actual imported cost, landed cost to you is of the order of $1,300, which is not cheap, but the kit does include everything you need. It's in a bag. You've got a wheel brace. You've got the caravan jack.
Yeah.
You've got a couple of different stud sizes. I don't know why they do that, but that's what they've got. And you've got a whole lot of other stuff. So it's not cheap. And the great thing is it's a skinny spare, and it's light enough to sort of carry in and out of your boot if you need to.
Yeah, I've got the Easy Jack and all that sort of stuff. I actually traded in a Toyota Troopy camper for my Tesla, one extreme to the other. So I've got all the jacks and all that sort of stuff.
That's my dream vehicle, an EV.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Man, if I could have one of those with 1,000K range and 300 kilowatts of charging and a flying pig and
yeah, and the last 15 years I've been living in remote communities in Outback WA, in the Kimberley, in the Pilbara, and
I'm up here now.
Probably had in 15 years, I reckon I've probably had 3 flat tires on the side of the road. But it's just a mindset.
So if you want something that probably wouldn't dare get a flat tire, you just need to get yourself one of these.
Absolutely. Mate, I am loving it. I am loving it. Yes.
And that segment was brought to you by my love for the Cybertruck, because I can't look at them often enough.
It has my name written all over it.
Oh,
well, I hope that you put your money to your name and put a reservation in there, Michelle.
Yeah, I'll probably be the other end of the spectrum actually, Michelle, because that one drive I did, it was up here again in the Pilbara, and I blew 3 tires on one gravel road trip.
Oh
This was about
no.
12 years ago. It's the only
Oh
time
no.
I've had to put my thumb out with no reception for anything anywhere.
Yep.
So I'm with you on carrying spares. And in fact, when we did our 5-week road trip with our Model S up into the Kimberley and Pilbara, we got a tent peg through one of the tires. So, and I was carrying a spare because we were, going off for a few thousand Ks. So, and I'm glad I did because,
Yeah.
that would have been annoying.
Well, this car that I've bought, this Model 3, it was secondhand and it's got aftermarket wheels on it.
Yeah, right.
And it's got different wheels on the front to the back.
Oh, staggered. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I'm sort of thinking that as they run out, I'm going to put the ordinary wheels back on it.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. So you mentioned, I think it was you, Richard, mentioned not having any coverage or anything at all.
Yeah.
Starlink is now coming out, not in Australia yet, but they are talking about worldwide roaming. So wherever there is Starlink, you would be able to bring it with you and have it work on land anywhere where there's a Starlink service.
That's cool.
So that's going to be pretty cool. In the US, it's costing $200. I think it's $199 a month. So I guess that might translate to about 250, but that's global roaming on land. So that's something that's pretty cool. But within Australia, yes, you can for $174 a month, and a upfront cost of, I think it was $450 for the hardware. You can actually have, and this thing too, if you get the $174 a month is actually the RV package or the roaming mode, and you can actually suspend it on a monthly basis. So if you only do a once a year road trip, albeit you've got to pay $450 for the hardware, you can just spend $174 for the month that you're going to do your road trip and just leave it in your shed or whatever at other times, and have unbroken, full, high bandwidth communications throughout mainland Australia and Tasmania. And then if one has a rather nice looking yacht, because why wouldn't you? If you're a bit affluent, you could also get a marine package for a very reasonable $2,000 per month. But if you have to ask the price of that kind of package, you don't have the right boat. So
it'd be funny. Have that on your dinghy.
You don't have the right boat, or you don't have the right bank account.
Well, both I suggest, because you need to have a few zeros on your bank account to get the big boat. But yeah, but Paul, I mean, by all means, why wouldn't you want to have Starlink Marine on your dinghy? Why not?
Harold?
Yes, Nigel.
Someone's just Lee. Does anyone have a link to a reasonably priced, low-profile jack for a Model Y? Now, I know you'd probably need a low profile for a 3, but isn't a Y a little bit higher?
Absolutely.
Do you need a low profile?
My Model X, I just went to Super Cheap and bought one of those red caravan jacks, and that seemed to work. So I dare say that the same thing would definitely work on the Model Y, absolutely, because the Model Y is at least a couple of inches higher on ground clearance.
Yeah, you need a low profile one for a 3 because their ground clearance is a lot less.
Yep.
Even the Y performance, probably be okay, Harold.
Yeah, I think so, because it's
a bit lower, but
it's an inch lower.
Yeah.
I think it's an inch lower, but it's significantly higher than the Model 3.
Yeah.
For sure. And what you could do is just go to like Super Cheap or Auto Pro or whoever, and just on the basis of you just want to suss it out, or just look at the specs. I think most of those caravan jacks or whatever you call them, scissor jacks, have a minimum height.
Yeah, the Model Y ground clearance for the performance is 157 millimeters and the non-performance 172.
Right, so approximately an inch, yeah.
17.
James has very. Oh, that's a trolley jack. Right. Okay. Fair enough. Does that fit though,
So I've
James?
got, yeah, that's what I got from a Model 3. So it fit in Model Y.
Oh, that is a low profile. Right. So that's a very flash one. That's a low profile trolley jack. Right. Very good. Very good.
Yeah,
But
I've
you've
also
also
got
got
one
to
of
make
those.
sure that it's got the lifting capacity as well.
Yes.
Although, I mean, you're only lifting up half the car, but they weigh about 2 tons, so you've got to be careful.
And make sure you lift it in the right spot as well.
Mm.
Use your hockey pucks if need be.
Oh yes. So for anyone that's curious, if you say at the front of the car you're doing a front wheel, you just go to the. Oh, how do we describe it? The front of the back part of the
Just
wheel
behind the
arch. Just
behind the front wheel arch and in front of the back wheel arch.
Yep.
So basically, if you imagine the car is, a flat surface with 2 semicircles, it's on the inside part where your door sills are, adjacent to the wheel arches. And you'll actually feel, if you run your finger in the door sill, you'll actually feel like a hole. There'll be like a hole about the size of about 15 millimeters in diameter. And if you actually look under there, you'll see there's like a little bit of a rubber or a neoprene sort of pad, like a hard plastic pad surrounding that hole as a rectangular shape. And that's where you should put your jack, or better still, a block of wood, or like Pete described, one of the hockey pucks that you can get at various websites, Tesseries, Teslas, Alibaba and others.
Yeah. So if you've got a Model 3, its ground clearance is only 140 millimeters, so you do need a low profile jack to get in there.
Gotta love the RAC.
That's set of 4. Yep, they're the pucks. They're the set of 4. I mean, you don't really need 4, of course, unless you're using something like a 4-poster hoist and you want to hoist the whole car up. Alrighty, and I think James is just, that's the hydraulic, that's from Sydney Tools, and there's the actual website there for that. I mean, that's a bit Hollywood to drag that around in the back of your car, I dare suggest. But it's certainly nice for doing tyre rotations at home.
Wow, and the jack stands. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good value, isn't it? $130.
Nice. Assuming it works.
Yeah, that's right. So Harold, Cybertruck.
Yes.
Harold, speaking of
flat tires, are they non-pneumatic tires?
No, I don't. No. So, sorry, have you saying that they have been declared as being run flat?
I've been watching a couple of things on YouTube over the past couple of weeks, and they've been showing the non-pneumatic tires, so that they are wood rubber cells.
Yep.
Obviously webbed inside of there, and they do show it running over nails, penetrating clearly through, and then straight off and keep on running. And so the inference, hence my question, the inference is that they're looking at that for Cybertruck.
That's Michelin, I think, if I recall correctly. They've actually got like circles. They're sort of like circular tubes of whatever, and then you've got the tread place, and there's no sidewall. You can actually see through the tire. Is that the one that you mean?
That's the one that they're showing, but there's not just Michelin. I think there's 1 or 2 others that they're looking at as well. I think
apparently Goodyear's got the contract for.
And that's what I was thinking. Goodyear.
Yeah.
I'm just. Yeah, see, what I came across was the airless Michelin, which looked like. I don't want to learn more. Green, please. Looked like this. So this is slightly different. So there's your spikes, and there it is there. So that's one version. So you can never be flat. I'll also there is a video as well. Sorry, just got to excuse me for a moment.
Oh, they look all right.
I'll just turn the audio off just in case we get a what's name violation.
I wonder what the equivalent pressure would be, because obviously you wouldn't then be able to adjust the pressure
No,
for your
yeah,
weight.
exactly. If you
Looks
got
a lot.
bogged,
Looks a lot lower, doesn't it? You wonder
Mm.
how it would go on a track around corners without a sidewall. Whether
Yeah.
it would twist.
Oh, hang on. Sorry, is it? Does it actually look like that? Like
yes.
surely it would have a sidewall for
No, no,
if you
no,
bought
no, no. It looks like
Fresh
I
air.
saw it.
It's fresh
That's what it
air.
looks like. That's it. That is absolutely it there.
It'd go perfectly
Okay.
with Cybertruck.
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably increase your decrease your efficiency and your range and increase your consumption.
Possibly. Who knows? Who knows?
That'd be great if it were.
I can see the police being so frustrated with that, like putting out, those stingers on the ground and people just driving straight over them.
Oh, no.
You can
Never
do that as
thought of
much as you want, officer.
Can I just ask a question, Harold?
Of course. Yes, John.
With the performance with the different size, the 255s and the 275s, front and back, is that would mean no tire rotation, like having the four wheels and crisscrossing? So it's a
That's
different
correct.
regime. Yeah.
So the only thing you could possibly do is you have to get the tire people to literally take the tires off their rims and
Yeah,
move
then
them from the
you-
left side to the right side while keeping the same direction, if you know what I mean.
So it's a bigger deal. Yeah.
Yep. My Model X actually, which is now Richard's, has the same situation where the front to back is staggered. So I think the front is they're 9-inch width rims and the backs are 10s, I think. But then a mate of mine actually, I think a mate of mine actually went symmetrical and just did the 9 inches front and back. And really that the car works perfectly well in that sort of format, as would the performance. I think Tesla's just basically saying they want, because of the power requirements and grip and all that sort of thing, for a performance on its ragged edge, that it does benefit from larger rubber at the back.
Yeah.
But there's nothing stopping you from.
But the Model 3 Performance doesn't have staggered wheels.
No, because the Model 3 Performance hasn't got the weight and the height and all that sort of thing. So they've same as the Model S Performance. I mean, the Model S. Well, yes, the Model S Performance. I don't think it has staggered wheels either, although I could be wrong.
You mean the Plaid? Okay.
The Plaid now, yes, but I mean even the performance cars of today in Australia, I think they might be symmetric, but I could be wrong. But the X as standard is not symmetric, and I guess it makes sense for the Y Performance for maximum theoretical dynamic stability and performance does have it. But you can. There's nothing that says you can't change that. It would fit with the other wheels. In fact, Pete, I mean, you've got. So do you have a Stealth? You've got the Stealth Model 3. So
I do. Works perfectly fine. Yeah.
Exactly.
The real Model 3 Performance doesn't have staggered either, as you said.
No, that's right. Yes, but the Ys do.
Yeah, my Model Y Performance is going to have non-staggered as soon as it arrives. They're in my attic at the moment with the EV Michelin Sport EV tires already on them, ready to go. So.
Oh, cool.
Very good. Very good.
So are they both 275s, Richard? Did you up the front size?
No, 255.
Oh, they've reduced the back size to 55.
I
Yeah.
have, yeah, that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a guy, a YouTuber in the States who increased the front to 275 and then the back to 295, which it fitted all right and was a lot quieter, but obviously you get a little less rain, I think, if you go the size up.
And that cleared all the wheel arches and
Yes.
brake calipers and all that, or whatever.
Yeah.
It cleared everything.
Yeah,
Right.
there was a video where he said they rode a lot and there was less chance of curb rash because the tyre being a little bit bigger on the rim, it actually brought the edge of the rim closer to the tyre. It didn't stick out like the performance one sticks well out. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Interesting.
So I'm sort of thinking about that because, he says a lot quieter, runs a lot quieter.
Yeah, I'm putting 19 inches on mine, not 21. That's those low profile things. Not again.
Yeah.
Why is that, Richard? Can you please explain in 50 words or less, or you can use ChatGPT-4 if you like. Tell us.
Because if people don't know, when I got my Model 3 Performance after waiting 1,309 days for it, took it out for a drive and I got 5 kilometres down the road, touched a curb and ruptured a rear wheel. So it was back on the flatbed 2 hours after it was delivered on a flatbed. So straight away I got rid of the bloody 20s and put 18s on it. Never had a problem after that. And they're better in every respect, I reckon. You get a better ride, better range, better comfort. I think my 18s look better than my 20s anyway. So yeah, anyway.
Yep. I'm sure I looked better when I was 18 than when I was 20, Richard. So,
but I've never actually been 18 inches. But that's another story.
Moving right along. So,
there's another question in chat, Harold.
Just saw it. I was just trying to read it. Okay. So, has anyone installed calipers on their Tesla? I presume you mean the red
covers,
clip-on covers for your brake calipers. Has anyone done that on their awesome cars?
No, that was me doing it.
Sorry, James, say that again.
Dream of me having the car jacked up, and I did it. Yes.
Oh, you have done it. Okay, cool. So they're not rattling. They're stable as, look good.
Last of the race day at Saturday. Long drive in the country, all good.
So you did that on the race day as well. You had them on.
They were on, yeah.
So does that explain why your brakes were too hot and braking performance was reduced?
What to do with
Just kidding. Very good.
From AliExpress, they worked really well. Came with stickers, black stickers, white stickers. The casting on the rear brakes was a bit blobby, so I had to file off a bit of the clip that and I just used a cutting blade on an angle grinder to take the clip down from like 2 centimeters down to 1.5 centimeters, and they've stayed on great.
Awesome. Actually, James, I just noticed that you did actually put in an image of you having jacked your car up, and you can actually see that it worked perfectly well.
Brakes now.
So there you go. Alrighty. Anyone else got any other questions or comments?
Anyone see Rob Now's video today?
Of the Chinese deliveries going through the roof?
Yep.
That would prompt me to put one of these on, which is...
The following segment is general in nature and shouldn't be taken as personal professional advice. Listeners should seek their own independent assessment from a qualified advisor and not rely on the general nature of information in this program.
So, What do you think that might mean, Paul, to Tesla's short-term future and share price, perhaps?
I'm glad I bought more a few weeks ago.
Well, I mean, Moody's finally, they are the last of the ratings agency that actually rate Tesla, because Fitch can't even be bothered rating them, to give Tesla an investment, at least the lower bounds of an investment grade.
Finally.
They finally got in the mood.
Boom, boom.
Tesla Mama gave him a fair bit of a rev up to get him over the line.
And that moron fella, I mean Morgan.
Oh, gold. I know.
But yes, it looks like Tesla China is just going crazy. It's been I think it's an all-time weekly record, actually, according to the graph I saw on Tesla Daily podcast.
Yeah, it was like what, 18,000 cars or something
And
crazy.
you notice that the BYD deliveries had actually plateaued.
And they've actually they've reduced the number of
Couple of
shifts.
days a week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
they've
the
gone
number
to
of
4
days
a
and the
week
number
and
of
2
shifts.
a day. So
you're just going, I'd actually like them to just have the BEV numbers, so then we can actually compare apples to apples. I want to see how they're actually going.
with BYD, it's about 50-50 split. EVs are slightly under half, and the plug-in hybrids are slightly over half. But if you just halve it, so 38,000, that's just under 19,000 will probably be EVs.
Yeah.
So, oops, sorry, I pressed the wrong button. Sorry. This is courtesy of Rob Mauer.
Yes.
And that's the plot there. So from 13th to 19th of March, that's a 6-month record. And then a little bit later, he actually shows BYDs, and you can see they've basically plateaued.
Yeah.
And that's very telling, because in the past, when Tesla was reducing turnover, BYD was increasing, and now it's kind of flipped on its head.
Yeah.
If you actually compare those two, you've got about 18,000, just almost 19,000 Teslas being sold, and 18,700. And then if you look at the BYD figures, that's what was it, 38,000. So just under half of that, which is about the same as Tesla, are pure battery electric vehicles. So they're on a par.
But the margins for BYD are a lot lower than Tesla's as well. So
yes,
I think Tesla's actually going to make more money than those guys this month, this quarter. Sorry.
Their EVs, their straight EVs have got bugger all margin. Their other ones are keeping them afloat.
Yeah. Oh, what's this?
Speaking of margins, Paul, Tesla's got about 5 times the margin of BYD. Actually, more than that, as you rightly said. Yeah, but look at Xpeng and Go down the bottom.
Where's this from? This is good.
Yeah,
I know.
Statista, I think. It just shows you the gross margin per unit sale per car. No one's even close.
No.
Could still do a $5,000 reduction in price and still be making double what the GM is.
Yeah.
Yeah, except if they then followed that $5,000 price decrease to try and match Tesla, well, then they're all so profoundly underwater. It's just not funny.
Yeah.
Well, if they're only got a $2,000 gross margin, shows you that they can't compete.
A lot of them are buggered.
Oh, and that's, we're really having a discussion that happened in the late 2000s when a certain fruit company brought out a flat-screened phone without any buttons. And look what's happened 15 years later.
Yeah.
Was that BlackBerry?
That had a lot of buttons, Nigel. That had a lot of buttons.
A lot of buttons. I know. It's quite interesting. I saw a fully charged video today on Ford's Ford Explorer that's going to be on the
Europe, yeah,
in the European one, and they are actually getting rid of more buttons and that sort of stuff. And I was just going, there you go, you know, they were going on about buttons and dials and other sort of crap. They're still mucking. Yeah. It actually looks cheap in comparison. Like they've got this portrait screen still, and then they could move it up and down. But the way that Jack did it, when he moved it, I was just like, oh, that sounds a bit plasticky and cheap sort of stuff. And I was just like, oh, nothing.
I don't know what this fixation with buttons in your car is all about. You see all these reviewers going, oh, look, it's got buttons and knobs and dials and I can play. Why? I mean, I just love the Tesla's minimalistic. I just set everything to auto and bugger it. I don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
And interestingly, I took the Cupra Born out for a test drive yesterday, and that's lacking in a lot of buttons. There's a few on the steering wheel for cruise control and radio and voice control, and that's about it.
Can I be controversial and say that there is one button that I would love to have in the Tesla, and it's just, you know, the temperature dial. Just so you know, there's something satisfying about some cars where you just go right, crank to cold, and then crank the dial to maximum.
There is a button to do that, Richard.
Yeah, I know.
Press the right steering wheel button and say, I'm too bloody hot, and it will crank the temperature down for you.
It's just the only thing that I miss is just going, yeah, crank. And then it just does it.
I feel sorry for you, Richard. Your life must be so empty.
Yeah, he's a bit tactile, Richard.
There's the little violin for you, mate.
There's the little violin.
I didn't think I was going to get anyone backing me up here. So
not in this crowd, buddy.
No,
it's a tough crowd. It really is. It is a tough crowd, and I even have got a little violin, but I just can't find it in the 300 milliseconds I was looking for it.
I can wait.
We'll just think about third world problems.
Absolutely.
Problems?
In fact, I am going to try and... Oh, here we go. I did find it. Look at this. No, I'm going to try... Oh, I'll try photos. Let's see if this is going to work. Oh, there we go. Here we go. There's your little violin.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Every time I get into my Model Y, after driving the Model 3, left-hand mirror is tilted all the way down as far as it'll go. So I'm using my... All right. So it's not just me, it is a bug.
I don't know.
In mine, both mirrors are tilted and pointing down at the rear wheel. But they do come back up automatically when I put my foot on the brake.
Yeah, no, I get that in the Model 3 as well, and I get it in both the Model 3 and the Model Y. It's not all the way down. The right one is where I want it, but I always adjust it and I press save, but it doesn't seem to save it. And I think I've saved it about 10 times, but it keeps on reverting back to that lower position. But it's only the left mirror for some reason.
I'm thinking that, I must be saving it to the easy entry or must be saving to another profile, so that I made sure after the fourth time, the right profile was chosen, saved it, and then I want to move the seat, save that, just in case. Next time I got back in, down again.
Yeah. No, it's just a...
And when you put it in park and you get out, the wing mirrors just turn to point down.
They go down.
Lower than for reverse. I don't know why they do it.
Oh,
fine. Left and right.
For that module, there's a deep mirrors or something along those lines. There's a on the mirrors. There's a setting. It's
That's
just
for when you put it in reverse.
Yeah,
correct. Yeah,
this is not in reverse. It's when I put it in park to get out.
Oh, okay.
And then when I get back in, they're still pointing down. I put my foot on the brake, put it in drive, and the wing mirrors turn back to their saved position. I do not know why.
Have you got easy entry on leaving a car? Because doesn't easy entry invoke when you enter the car and also when you put it in park to leave the car?
Yes, I've got easy entry.
But you haven't got mirrors dipped as a setting on easy
No, I've
entry.
tried changing it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Look, these cars are a little bit like a box of chocolates. You never quite know what undocumented feature you might get.
Yeah.
And is this only for those unfortunate souls that have a Model 3 and a Model Y per se, perhaps, where it might be a clash with your online profiles changing from one species or one whatever you want to call it to
Whatever
another?
happens with my Model 3, you can't change the profile from your Model 3 and take it with you and jump into a Model Y. You've got to have
it only follows the
Model Y.
same type, does it?
I believe so, yeah.
I don't know. I haven't tried it.
I did when I had both, and it didn't seem to work.
So when you say both, are you indicating that you've sold your Model 3, Nigel?
You're
muted.
Yes, I did. It was about a month ago.
Oh, very good. Very good. Congratulations.
No, I basically gave it away, but I wanted to buy some more shares.
Yeah, I remember, Nigel, you said that you looked at the first offer, rejected that, looked at the next lower offer, rejected that, and then finally got a third one, which is acceptable.
Yes, it was even lower.
Yep.
Well, the good news is there are only 64 Model 3s available, second-hand ones in WA, and I dare say perhaps some of those are actually new ones. You know, like dealer cars or whatever. So they're reducing.
If the shares were getting lower, Nigel, you would have been in front then, just waiting till them to drop even lower to buy.
Yeah, and I went to send the money to America to buy the shares, and of course the American dollar had dropped, and it's now about 66 cents. So can't send any money over. Mind you, if you actually look at it, I sent the money over when it was about 72 cents. So I've probably made some just on the exchange rate, let alone making about 30-40% on the shares.
Absolutely. And I mean, we just can't obviously wait for the shares to go up a little bit, which would be nice once they. Well, I reckon this quarter is going to be very interesting, and this quarter is almost finished. How's that for time flying?
Yeah.
So we just have to see what the results are, and it could be very interesting to see how the market responds.
There was one country today where the Teslas were getting delivered and they were pleading with people to come and take them off the trucks rather than wait to get them shipped to their service centres. There were so many of them coming in. They were trying to get rid of them all.
Yeah, right. Where was that? That's not
I did watch
Thailand,
it today. I was in Europe, maybe somewhere else.
Italy, was it?
Yeah, I'm not sure, Pete.
Well, there's no doubt that they're just. I mean, or who can put their hand up and go for even a short drive, and not see not see a multitude of 3s or Ys.
Yeah, no, they're everywhere now.
Yeah, it's bloody annoying.
I know.
No
one's waving.
I'm going like this, and they just go, "Who's that idiotic bald fella?"
I think Michelle is the only one that can drive for any length of distance and not see a Model 3 or a Y.
Absolutely.
There's actually 2 in my street, about 4 houses down. He's got a Model S and a Model Y. I think he might be a car dealer. He had a Model 3 a few weeks ago. Now he's got a Model S and a Model Y.
I didn't know that you live near Pete.
Saw my first Model Y in Port Hedland the other day.
Oh yeah,
grey one. So that was I've seen a couple of 3s there before, but never a Y.
Oh, James just said that he's seen this car. This is not Allison's car because it's the wrong yellow, but that's like Hertz yellow. That's like a Hertz yellow colour.
Oh, yeah.
Allison's got different plates to that as well.
Well, she's got a 3.
Yes. Yeah, well, and that too. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What those, Harold?
Sorry?
They're not, what wheels are those? They're not the induction wheels, are they?
I don't know
They look
what
different than
they do. They're probably custom.
Yeah, they look like third-party ones. Yeah.
And somehow the wheels look a bit thick, but that might just be an optical. It's probably an optical illusion because of the front bit there. And it's got blackout. I don't know what color it used to be. Maybe it was black, but that's been blacked out as well.
Yeah.
The roof line. But that's like Alison's, I think. She did that to her car.
Almost Bumblebee.
Dearie me. Isn't it great to have so many cars that you actually start getting a bit of variety? Where people start customizing them. Because how many Poverty Pearl white cars can we handle on the roads of Perth?
I saw that yellow one underneath down at Carrinup, not charging. It looks superb. Looks fantastic. Really nice.
Oh, sorry, similar to that one there.
I think it's probably the same car. How many of that?
Yeah, right.
Was a yellow wire like that? Looked beautiful.
Very good. Come on, Tesla, give us some more colours. I mean, you've got Midnight Cherry Red. I forget where. That was Fremont, wasn't it? Or Texas?
No,
so
that's...
let's get some in
Germany.
Was it Berlin? That's the German one.
Yeah, Berlin.
Ultra Red.
Got the
Oh, sorry, Ultra Red. Sorry,
Very
apologies.
red.
Yes, Ultra Red in
Yeah, but they're right-hand drive, guys. Notice?
Pardon?
They're right-hand drive cars.
Which ones?
A picture. James's picture.
Yeah, that was in. James saw this in Perth somewhere.
Corner of Whitford's Ave and Marming Ave.
Oh yeah.
And then we've got the track day. And you got a few red cars because they go faster.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
So that's pretty cool. Were there any COVID cars there? I'm just asking on behalf of Jared, who happens to be at the front of the queue there, because I recognise his number plate in the blur it is.
I have a red car. I got Denmark plates on it.
Oh, very good, very good. My wife had a red S, but she's gone to a blue Y.
This is colour that I'm waiting for, I reckon.
Oh, nice.
Brilliant.
Is that the Quicksilver one?
Yeah, the Mercury.
That's
wow.
Yeah.
That does look quite
That would
nice,
be
doesn't
sick.
it?
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Stunning.
You'd be waiting a while then.
Oh, yes. Very nice.
You're going to have to be careful caring for that one.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
Mercury. Actually, I wonder what your wrap would look like, Nigel, on that. That could be interesting. But it might take away some of the depth.
I think it might, yeah, because that's quite shiny. So you put a wrap on it, you'll take away a lot of the gleam and the mercury effect.
Absolutely. Well, you could go, as James has just shown, if you like burnt orange, just like Damon's Model X. This could be a burnt orange Model 3.
Yeah.
3.
It was in Empower down in Canning Vale.
Yes.
Full fibre kit on it. Looked very nice.
Yes, you wouldn't want to curb it, would you? That would be expensive.
Human speed humps would be a challenge with that.
Absolutely. You'd probably have to drive it like a Ferrari, slowly around the place. Alrighty. Any other bits of news or anything that we've got? Nigel.
Yeah, go, Nigel. Yeah.
I received. Let me just turn
see.
the. Yeah, because I've got the background on.
Yeah.
If I can go to video settings. And no.
There you go.
All right. I received this.
Oh, let me
recently
just
when I-
spotlight it momentarily. So
Oh, that'd be
that's
good.
there we go.
I know it's back to front and nothing much I can do about it, but
No,
this is what I
we can see it
received.
correctly. No,
We
no.
can see it.
Please note these EV charges are for the hub guests only. Fines will apply if parked here illegally.
Ooh.
Yes, this is the Tech Park charges, not the Horizon Power charges. So there's set of 4 charges, of which only 2 are working, and these ones are the 7 kilowatt charges just on the back of the Tech Park function center, otherwise known as the hub. And the management of the hub are very protective of their charges, and they at around about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, every car that is parked and charging gets this little note.
So if we just go, am I correct in saying this is the Tech Park Function Center?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so that's this one right here where the EQC is.
Mm-hmm.
Rightio. And so these are free to use, as in you don't need a card or anything, or is it like
No,
you use
no, you
ChargeFox
don't
to
need a
activate?
card.
Right. Well, it says ChargeFox Network, so just the app, or does it work anyway?
Yeah.
Just the app.
Yeah.
And it's not restricted, except parking is restricted, I guess.
No,
Is that
it's
how-
free parking there. So there's no restricted parking. It's just that management get touchy when you park your
use it.
car there to charge. And
Right.
another thing that most people don't know is that the Horizon Power chargers are now utilized for 8 hours. At both bays are fully used.
For Horizon Power cars or just in general?
Just in general.
Oh, right. Yes, because people are freeloading, because never get between an EV owner and a free source of electricity because it's going to get ugly.
Interestingly enough, the cars that are charging there are hybrids.
Oh, Jesus.
So in other words, they're probably already full and they've just stopped charging and just leaving them there because it's convenient. They'll be the FEVs, I guess. I mean, sorry, the Highlanders.
Yeah.
Or Outlander, whatever it's called.
Yeah, Outlander FEV.
Outlander, sorry, FEV.
Yeah, the Ionics and the MGs.
Oh, right, and that too. Right.
Yeah, the older.
How long are the adverts on TV where it says pure hybrid? Is that an oxymoron or what? How can you be a pure hybrid?
Yes,
It's like
agree.
being a pure
agree.
mongrel, isn't it? That's what it is.
Agree,
Maybe
mongrel.
we should bring in the fines for parking in an EV charging spot and not charging, like they have over east. 2,200 in New South Wales, 3,000 or something in the ACT, I think it is. I mean, it's just what the?
What a great idea, Nigel.
Sorry?
What a great idea. But
Yes.
unfortunately, in Western Australia, we are a little slow to adopt new laws.
I think you could leave it a little slow.
I mean, Paul would make a really good council worker, wouldn't he?
Look,
I used to be.
He's pacing himself,
Well, there
you
you go,
know.
practiced.
Well, I wasn't on the road crew. I was in charge. But anyway,
Isn't that what WA stands for? Wait a while.
yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Dear
Yeah,
me,
a
didn't
lot
know
of
you were
people-
on policy. You were on the policy committee there, Paul, for parking
Yeah.
legislation.
Oh, there's a lot of people that were slow to listen to instructions. So
No doubt. No
that's all
doubt.
good.
Yes, that's interesting, Nigel. That's. I mean, look, if they could make it easier by simply restricting to a white list of ChargeFox users that work there or whatever it is, or something, or perhaps a little bit of signage could help too, which says charging and parking in these bays only for whatever it is. Insert criteria here.
I
Yeah, they
think
did
they
come
started
up
putting the
with-
signs up.
Sorry?
I think they started putting signs up
Ah,
recently.
gotcha. Gotcha.
There was
Shortly
some
after I received that
signs-
notice.
There was some signs developed over east to put on these charging bays. I've actually got
Right.
them somewhere if I can find it.
Because this one where the EQC is, that photo was taken in October last year, so it's obviously out of date.
I don't know how common it is, but I think in Denmark on their chargers, they've got a charge for charging at a certain amount, and then after a certain amount of time, they charge more.
Idle fees.
I'm not really sure. I
Yeah.
don't go down there often enough, but I know that there's an extra charge if you're there past a certain amount of time.
Oh, yes. In fact, I'm just seeing it here. It's 45 cents per kilowatt hour plus 10 cents per minute after 3 hours.
Yes.
Is
Yeah.
this smart charge? This looks like this sounds like smart charge. Who's the
All I know is that it's a bloody BYO cable one.
Yes. Now look, the reason for it is
I
when you
think it's
actually
great.
see the pedestal, it's a lot more vandal resistant because if you have a cable, you can basically swing it like a cat and smash the end of it on the ground.
Yeah.
So a classic example of that, which we'll just very quickly do live, is if we zoom over to Margaret River. Oh, I should have zoomed out a little bit more. If we go to Margaret River and you see the fast DC charger, this one right here, what you'll see is, oh, is it actually working again? They've actually fixed it. There you go. But what someone had done in the past was do this. These are the two different cables, and they literally took them off, swung them like a cat, smashed them on the ground, and each one of these cable sets costs $1,500. So it's $1,500 for the top one, $1,500 for the bottom one, and that's excluding labor. So
Yeah.
so by having a plain pillar and you bring your own cable,
Much better.
you'll always know that the cable's yours. It hasn't sort of been misused or whatever, and full of spiders or something or stuff. And yeah, it can be a bit of an advantage.
No, what I'm getting at though is I think it's really good when they give you a 3-hour limit.
Oh,
and then
yes.
charge you extra after that. Yeah.
Harold, I've got that picture of the signs that they're putting together over east. So this is where they're going to be charging you $2,200 or something. So they got the example one, which is 1 hour parking for only while charging, and then the other one is no parking except while charging.
Yes, very good.
And those, I think, they're pretty reasonable because we're fairly used to the 1p or 2p or 3p with hours.
Yeah, that's very good. That's quite succinct. It's in multi-mode, so you can see the actual symbol of it as well. And it's clear it's while charging, not while plugged in, which is
Yes.
different.
Yes, I think those are some of the better ones that that I've seen.
Once
let's
people
hope-
start getting pinged, for idle fees, and the word will get around, but until it becomes a bit more transparent, then people will get the message, I guess. Once there's a
Well,
few
there
fines.
there was something I read, I don't know if it was on Facebook or Twitter. Somebody posted that a little video of a Range Rover, whatever, reversing out of a charging bay. And he said, I've just told this guy it's a $2,200 fine to park here if you're not an EV. And he was basically said, to the words of go forth and multiply, I'll just pay the fine and I don't give a poo-poo. So that's the
Well-
attitude of some people.
That's because they've just got some of these and they're
Yeah.
just like peeling them off, going,
I
I
mean, he
don't
was
care.
driving $100,000 Range Rover, so some people.
You could almost say it might be a little bit like this, where there's a couple of cars that probably can afford. Oh, that's an Atto actually. Oh, a learner. Awesome. What a great car to learn in. I just saw that just then. Wow. There's a few effluent people
Dari.
around.
And I saw them both pull up and they both walked out of the car park, didn't even go into Bunnings.
Oh, of course.
Oh,
Yes.
so they plugged in and walked off.
Yep.
Yeah. Where's that charger?
Dari, bit far for you, mate.
I was just thinking, free charge. I'll go in.
I think Bunnings. I think most Bunnings are actually starting to do that. They're starting to roll out chargers throughout their network of shops. So you said
that Addo, Harold, belongs to a guy that actually works at Bunnings. He's only 19 or 20 years old, and he saved up for that car all himself.
Wow. That's
only
pretty good.
He's only had it for about 6 weeks.
Very good. That's pretty cool. But yeah, it is a bit bad form. I mean, I have seen people literally just drive to somewhere. Some time ago, I've even seen someone pull out a scooter out of their boot so they could even travel a bit further while their car was charging at a location, at a shopping centre. Because the best things in life are free.
Yeah. Well, I did that in Catherine, but there was plenty of other.
Yeah, but come on, Pete. You dragged that scooter 13,500 kilometres around Australia, and it impinged on your ability to sleep straight in bed. Oh, sorry, I used the word bed in inverted commas. And how many times did you get to use that precious scooter?
A whole 3 times, Harold.
Well, that's fair enough then. If it was 2, it would be unreasonable, Pete. But 3, that's the clincher. It was totally worth it.
And he did 450 kilometres in it each time.
I just wish someone told me before I left not to take her with me.
One can lead one's horse to water, but one can't make one's horse drink.
Yeah.
Next time, Pete, when we do it in the Cybertruck, you could fit a scooter. That would be okay.
Yeah, you'd chuck it in the back.
You'd just chuck it in the back. Chuck the ATV in the back as well. Oh, dear.
Oh, that'd be cool. So you've got to have it like kit. You've got your semi, and then you come out and you're in there.
Don't say that more than once, Paul. Don't say that more than once. Because there'd be 2 trailers that'd be awesome. You have one that's a full, not so tiny house, and then you have one that is a tiny house, and the other back part of it is kit style with the Cybertruck as your run-around tender for the semi.
Oh, that'd be great.
One day it might
and
just
the
happen.
Cybertruck will have the quad bike on the back of that.
So it'll be the Russian doll. It'd be like the Russian dolls. Oh, someone's telling us.
When we take the Cybertrucks around Australia, I'll tow this with me.
Yes. It's funny.
Grumpy did a video with Josh about this at
Fully Charged Live. Yeah, Josh is a nice bloke.
He is, yeah.
Very good. So how much does this awesome piece of equipment cost?
Oh, it's just a lazy 50 US.
50 US.
Yeah, between 50 and 60 US. There's 3
versions. Is that photo taken?
A $5,000 discount for the Fully Charged Live show weekend.
Yep.
But he'd woken up that weekend and he'd basically almost sold out of this year's production to America.
Oh,
very good.
Yeah.
And is there actually an operating prototype yet, or are these just photoshops?
No, there's a operating prototype. So there's actually a video. I'll see if I can find the video on YouTube where they're actually hovering in it or flying in it or whatever the correct word is. But just full disclosure, I own a few shares. I might not be a shareholder in that company, so just full disclosure. But what am I going to? You guys talk about it amongst yourselves. I'll try and find it.
Very good.
I actually think I've got it on my computer here. Fully charged life. Where's the wave flyer? Here we go. And yeah, I've got it here.
Perfect. Just put display.
Just a moment. I'll share.
We'll stand by as we go back to the studio to load the tape.
There we go. So it's going to self-balance itself. So you don't have to worry about. So this is the working prototype. They've had this for over a year now. So this is the single seat version.
Yeah, he's got the double seat version as well.
Looks a whole lot better than kayaking.
Yes.
Not less effort.
But yeah, it will self-balance and self-hover itself, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, once you get up to speed. Yeah, that's right.
Once you get up to speed, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. That's a nice bit of the river too.
Yeah. That's on your house there somewhere, is it, Harold?
No, mine's on the other side, but that's
Right.
okay. Yes, that's a nice bit of river there. And that's a cool 50. That's 50 US.
Yeah, it'd be about 75 Australian.
It's
And
between 50 and 60. So there's a version for 50 grand, a version for 55, and a version for 60 grand. The difference is one will get you about an hour and a half worth of foiling, and the other one is about the $60,000 version is 4.5 hours, and it recharges in under half an hour. So it's got
Fast DC charging.
DC charging, yeah.
So you got to put it on your trailer and then take it to the plethora of fast DC chargers in Western Australia.
Well, when I was in Canberra at the marina there, they had 2 jetties with, I think I counted about 8 or 10. I mean, admittedly they were AC, but still they were on the jetties. So, you charge the electric boats that they had there. We don't have a single charge point anywhere on the Swan River, not a single one.
No.
Ridiculous.
Well, come on, Pete. Electricity and water don't mix. We know. Everyone knows that.
Yeah, you can't charge your car when it's raining.
That must be it.
Oh, speaking of which, did you hear on the radio today? I think it must have been our anniversary of our big hailstorm of 2010 or something. I think.
No, that was later.
Or was it 20?
I was
Oh,
there
well.
years ago, Harold.
No, it was. I got a Facebook, thing
Was
saying it on this day.
Was it
The big
really that long
hailstorm.
ago?
I know, crazy.
Oh,
isn't it?
wow. I'm getting old.
Do you want
And
to
that-
hear
and-
do you want to hear a happy ending story for that one? John
always.
Fowler, who I always get my tyres off John Fowler, have done for years for my Lotus and
Yeah.
everything. And now he does a lot of Porsches, and he was out, fitted some tyres on this Porsche, and he went for a drive, and he happened to get in the tunnel, and then all the traffic was all banked up, and he couldn't get out of the tunnel. So he came out of the tunnel eventually, and everything around it was smashed. But his car that he happened to take into the tunnel, one of his customers' cars, was fine. That's a good story, eh?
Yeah.
And he's in Osmond Park. That's where his workshop is, and that got
Yeah.
hammered.
Yes, they got hammered. Someone said that they actually they were picking up their new car in Osmond Park. they rang to check it was available. The people at Osborne Park said, "Oh, look, the weather's looking a bit dodgy. Maybe you shouldn't come here." He did anyway, and this was with a car he was trading in for the new one. And suffice to say that neither of those transactions occurred later that day because they all got smashed. Anyway, and actually, incidentally, some Teslas got smashed. Not back then, of course, because they didn't exist then. But there were some in. I think it was only a couple of years ago that were lost. They were Model S's, I think. I'm not exactly certain. And they were on the back of a train or on the top part of the train. And there was some severe thunderstorms Kalgoorlie way. And some got smashed up and had to be replaced.
I saw a great picture of a Lotus Esprit. I used to have a Lotus Esprit. And the only thing that was dented was the chrome around the windscreen. Because you can't dent fiberglass, it doesn't dent. They just bounce off it. So that was interesting.
Absolutely. And I think, yeah, James has just got the article from So Perth. That just shows a little bit of it.
Oh, wow.
Memories.
Yeah. Yeah, I just got home just as that started. So put the car under the carport and everything was cool.
And you saw that's a video. I don't know if it's going to show much more of it, but yeah, you could see it was a pretty ugly. Whoops.
Yeah.
Why is this working?
We should all be
ugly.
feeling about 150 years of age these days because you're getting so many one in 100-year events. They're happening all the time, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it looks like this is just the wind part. The rain part isn't. I don't think that's captured hail.
I did remember seeing something where there was like a convertible and he had the top down or something. And
oh gosh. Oh no.
And he couldn't go anywhere as well.
Oh, that's sad, James.
Oh, there you go. There's some stones.
Oh, this is cool.
Oh. Yeah, remember all the leaves are stripped off?
Yeah.
Just everything's just pelted.
Yeah. Yeah, the mother-in-law parked under a tree and the tree got stripped and then her car got pelted anyway. Had like the leaves embedded in the car. It was crazy. Yeah. Wow.
Memories, eh?
My 20-year-old at the time Nissan Torano, I just done an entire lap of Australia in, not a scratch, because it's made out of iron. And I just got the car and just started working, and I was like, "Where have I moved to?" And yeah, ended up towing trees
GU
off the
Patrol.
road. Great. Say again, sorry.
Patrol, and I literally got home from school, parked behind my wife who was in the garage. She gave me a earful because I'd blocked her in. She was in a rush to go out, so she jumped in the patrol and drove out. Not a scratch on it. All the cars around were smashed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Them's the breaks, eh?
Mm.
Alrighty. Hopefully we'll never see that again in our lifetimes.
Hopefully not.
But like you say, Richard, once in 100 years, and if you, yeah, whatever. It just gets more common, doesn't it?
You know, in engineering now, we actually have a climate change multiplier for environmental factors that we now have to design for.
Right, so that derates the 1 in 100 years as whatever. Well, you've got to derate it back the other way, don't you?
And I've we're trying to build a new rail line, and it's like, well, we've got stats for 1 in 25, 1 in 50, 1 in 100, 200. It's like, well, are these correct? But yeah, the multiplier is there was a new wind rating standard that came out, and you've got to add a multiplier in there for if you're 50, 100, 150 k's from the coast, and so yeah, it's real, and then of course that adds costs. So it's interesting seeing it incorporated in engineering design.
Absolutely. And then you've got the, what's it called? The something, what's that? This thing where the largest 200 polluting or emitting companies may have to reduce their emissions by 5% per annum.
Yeah,
every
right.
annum.
The
I was-
safeguard mechanism.
Yes, safeguard mechanism. Thanks, Pete. That's it. Safeguard
Oh,
mechanism.
that's it. Yeah.
And that's in
All
order
right,
to
I'll
make the
see
40%
you
reduction.
people
Oh,
another
see
day.
you, Nigel. Take care.
Oh,
And
yeah.
zoom
Yeah,
along. Zoom along safely in your car.
Yeah.
Hope you get a wave. Hope you get a wave next time out, Nigel.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
I don't understand
Not
it.
all.
You know, oh no, I don't.
See you, Nigel. Have a good
I
night.
do the autopilot wave.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right, see ya.
See ya.
Yeah.
Or
Alright.
if you're driving along, you just do the side window.
I've
Alrighty.
also done the that frightens the people next to you.
It sure does.
Okay,
It sure
I'm off.
does.
Bye.
You certainly are.
Bye, Nigel.
See ya.
Just one question, Harold.
Yes.
With plug share, you know how we always invite people, they should just put a comment and they're logging in and stuff like that. I haven't picked up my Tesla yet, but do Tesla mention anything about plug share, you know, when they're doing their handover about using things like that for an educational thing?
No, not really. And I guess we are really that conduit for that to bring
help.
that sort of knowledge to
Yeah.
everyone. I mean, since you mentioned plug share, and this is only this is what I personally do. If I'm on holidays and it's almost like a dog going for a walk and I see a tree, and if that happens to be a plug share point and I'm on holidays, I'll say yes, I was here,
Unreported, yeah.
and say I was here and charge successfully, take a photo, whatever.
Okay.
But and also if I see the status change, so if I see a location that was reported last as not working, but I find it was working, then I certainly diligently report that. Or if I see the opposite, if a place that isn't working and now is working, I'll say that as well.
Yep.
But I'm not a religious plug share. I don't plug share everything because
Yeah.
I have a personal life and not everyone
yeah,
needs
yeah,
to
sure.
to know or see where I've been.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
and really you got to take plug share for what it is, which is really an arm of social media. So it's not always accurate. Unfortunately, people can
Yeah.
place pins
Yeah.
and they can move them. So
Yeah.
I think some people get quite hung up about having to, they'll encourage, well, they'll basically berate people for not checking in. And often that's because they'll be frustrated when they get to a charging location and you or someone else is there,
It's full.
and they'll go, oh, well, if
Yeah.
if you had checked in, I then might not have bothered to drive here. And that's kind of a
Yeah.
logical argument to make. The only thing that dismantles that argument is what can very easily happen, and increasingly easily happen, is you happen to just arrive, you've just plugged it, like you've just plugged in, and you're about to check in on PlugShare when the person comes around the corner and sees you there. So the act of plugging in doesn't solve their problem, their first world problem of, oh, damn, there's someone there, because that can happen at any time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Similarly, I've actually approached some place where I did see someone had checked in and said they'd be an hour. And I thought, oh no, I'm going to be in for a wait. And as it turns out, when I got there, they weren't even there because they'd left earlier. Because the default when you do a check-in, depending on whether it's an Android, I think, or an iPhone, I think iPhone's the default, but I think it might be able to be changed, is an hour. And maybe on Androids, it defaults as half an hour, which you can change. So, so like I said, I wouldn't get hung up with feeling that you ought to use PlugShare all the time. Some people get quite hung up about it one way or the other. but just a nice balance. Don't feel that you need to tell the world about the private use of your car, unless you want to, and then it's totally cool.
But you can help out the whole network by observing something that isn't working and stuff like that. Yeah.
And I do that all the time.
Yeah.
And in fact, having said that, unfortunately the Tokwa charger in Geraldton has had a couple of hiccups, and I'm just trying to find PlugShare. Oh, can't find it. I'll just open a new one, and I'll show you. For example, it's been offline for a few days, and I feared, unfortunately, it's just been impossible for me to get up there to basically do anything about it. But it seems, touch wood, that it's now back online. I'll just bring it up on the screen, and that's this one here. Because incidentally, Smart Charge actually have an API integration with PlugShare. So if this charger was not online, it would be a grey pin, and it would show it as being offline. But at the moment, the score is 4.1 out of 10 because the last 3 people that visited reported it as offline. But the last check-in is on the 17th of March. So it would be good if, and I'm hoping, I did speak to a lady who said she's going to be around there on Friday to just check that it's working.
Check it out.
Because it is basically working. It does appear to be online on the Smart Charge app, but it's always good on PlugShare to have someone say, yes, I was here, and yes, it was working. So in that sense, John, it's really good. Yeah, it's a really good thing. But yeah, like I said, please, nor you or anyone else feel that you ought to be obliged to do that all the time or whatever. Just take it for what it is. You know. The other alternative is, of course, Tesla's screen, which shows the live status of all superchargers, and that's the way it should be. Which is anonymized data. So, but there you go, rant over. It's all good.
No worries. That's fine.
But yeah, but getting back to it, Tesla, look, to be honest, they just don't have the resources to do that.
No, it's not.
The thing.
It's not a commercial thing for them either. So
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the issues is, it's not like you're just buying another version of a petrol car. Like if you sold a petrol car and then you sold a diesel car, well, it's still in principle the same thing. You just pick a different label at the same place. EVs are different. But the learning curve is pretty flat, and it doesn't, once you've done it a couple of times, you're an old hat at it. And look, we are the people that live in the dark ages as far as charging infrastructure. Almost anywhere else in the developed world, it's just not, you've got so many choices, it's just not funny.
No worries. On another short question on that 3rd of April shipment, do you have any hunch about the pickup a couple of weeks afterwards? About the actually appointments? Probably a couple of weeks.
What customarily happens is, I think it's pretty much when the ship's arrived, or maybe a day or two after, people then will get a text message. And it's really important to act on it quickly, because the system I think it allocates about 3 possible appointment dates and times. And if you're not onto it quickly, they will then lapse, and then you may get a later allocation. So it's definitely useful to make sure you check your phone every now and then. Once you know the ship's arrived, which if it's on time, it'll be the 3rd or so of April. And then people will customarily a few days later start getting texts if they're in the early batch that come off. Oh, sorry, are you 3rd of April or are you 23rd?
3rd. No,
3rd. Oh, you're the early batch, right? Cool. You're a Y or a 3? Oh, sorry, a performance or a
performance.
Oh, right, awesome.
A Y performance.
Fantastic.
No, I'm offshore on a Chinese ship at the moment off Exmouth, so but I'll be back only a few days away. So I don't think I'll get anything in the next few days.
Oh no, you won't. No, I don't think any of us. That Tesla will make sure that they absolutely know that the ship is effectively at dock before they'll send any messages because look,
Yeah.
anything can happen. Fremantle could suddenly become congested. There could be delays for any number of
Wharfies.
reasons. Yeah, all that stuff. So,
Yeah.
or if a ship for some reason, like in Freo, breaks down or has an issue or can't unload and there's a delay, then everyone has to wait. So,
That's all right.
yeah, unfortunately, patience is a virtue that there aren't that many virtuous of us out there.
There's not long left. That's not long to go.
How long have you actually been waiting for, John?
Well, the same opening day.
Oh,
Opening day
gotcha.
order.
Yes, of
Yep.
course.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know how many hundreds of days that is, but it's
lots.
a couple of hundred
Yeah.
plus. But it'll be worth it, seriously.
Oh,
It
absolutely.
really,
Yeah.
it'll be worth it. So what colour's yours?
Multi-coat red.
Oh, very good. So when I get the drone up, there won't be that many red ones, so
No.
it'll be easier for you to pick out which one might be yours. Which is pretty cool.
Yeah. No, it's good.
Excellent. And no doubt you've got all your accessories ready to go. You got your bits of bling and stuff.
All the chart. Because I've got an EV anyway. I've got cables and type 2s and bloody all that stuff. So all set. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Very good. It's all good. And you've got the boot liners and all that stuff.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Tow bar ready or in order,
Not tow
or at
bar,
least.
but it's
Oh,
like
okay.
all dressed up but nowhere to go.
Know the feeling. You know, it's a couple of people in this room that might have orders for a certain Model X that that's going to be 1,000 days or plus or whatever.
It was
it's already
like sorry.
Go on.
It's like Carmen and I last week when we both logged on and we were the only ones.
Oh, yes. Carmen actually rang me and I said, oh,
she
I'm really
told
sorry,
me.
I had to go. And because
Shut down by 9:30.
and as it turns out, I left my phone sort of some distance away from me. So I was on my watch and she actually sent me a text and I was trying to respond back. Oh, I was trying to put the website, I was trying to put out, have a look at, tokwa.org.au. But of course, you do the letter O, but it would interpret it as the number 0. And it's like, well, that's not going to work.
Okay.
And then she eventually rang me and I said, oh, look, I'm really sorry. I went at about 8:30 and I think it must have been about 10 to 9 when she rang roughly.
Yeah.
And she said, there's only two of us.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we had a
maybe
yak then.
Would have been 10 to 10 maybe.
Or
Because it was
sorry, 10 to 10.
9. Yeah, it was after 9:30.
Yeah. So then I just said, look, I'm really sorry. I guess, since the star of the show had left, everyone had just buggered off and, in jest, of course. But but anyway, and yes, apologies for everyone in YouTube land. It was a short show last week and I do sincerely apologize for that. We're certainly making up for it tonight and it should all be good from here on in. So don't fret, we're not going to go for short episodes. We're going to go for bigger than Ben-Hur blockbusters.
Oh, no.
Into the foreseeable future.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, sorry, Pete. I'm sorry. Just caffeine works well. It really does.
And the comedy usually starts about 9:30. The comedy of the call, it's all the serious stuff first, and then it gets fun after that.
Actually, speaking of comedy, I've just had word from Rob Dean that apparently there was a injury at the track day last week. Apparently that's why Jared's not here this week. He apparently injured his thumb while he was driving, and Rob Dean's mentioned, he's managed to send me in some vision of what he thinks actually happened. So hopefully Jared's watching this on YouTube tomorrow. But here it is apparently. Have a look at the close-up.
Terrible.
Yeah. So,
So, Jared, we're really sorry. So, no thumbs up from you then for this show. I'm disappointed there, Jared. Very disappointed.
the team's a man down tonight.
Yes.
Rather. You were there. Can you corroborate that story, or no? You didn't see. You saw nothing.
Saw him driving very slowly.
Well, it's hard to drive quickly with a sore thumb, really. I mean,
Harold manages it with nine digits. So
I can't even count to 5. You know, I can't remember how I did it actually. Give me a moment and I'll think about it. Oh, that's right. No. See, what happened was, I've got this habit. You know, the witches' hats. You know, the cones. You know how there's a little hole in the top. Well, I was just sort of leaning on the cone, and my pinky sort of went down into the hole, and then someone on the track actually went a little bit sideways, and the back of their tire clipped the bottom of the cone, and it just whipped out, and it just took the end of my finger with it. And that was a lesson I learnt. Never put your finger in the end of a safety cone. Don't do it, kids. It's not safe.
Jared hurting his thumb is if someone kicked him up the arse.
Sorry about that, kiddies and mummies and daddies that got their kiddies getting their lunches ready for tomorrow. But it's all good. We're a family program, mostly.
actually, speaking of language, so yeah, just a warning of language. You're asking about the safety mechanism. There's a great Juice Media video about that. Oh, I thought I had it there. What have I done with it? Oh, here it is.
Australian government. Last year, we legislated our 2030 emissions target, a symbolic achievement. But the real question now is, how will we reach that target? And today, we're here to unveil the policy that answers that question. Introducing the Safeguard Mechanism. After a wasted decade under the last government, we know you elected us to take real climate action. Thankfully, the shit party set the bar so low, we could come up with a shit light policy and you'd still applaud us for it. So that's what we've done. Safeguard Mechanism. To be honest, it's not even our policy. That's right. The best part of the Safeguard Mechanism is it's made from recycled materials, which we got from the previous government. It was brought in by this prick to safeguard the coal and gas industry. So we thought, hey, if it ain't broke, why fix it? So we just tweaked it, stuck our logo on it, and voila, reintroducing the Safeguard Mechanism, or as we call it, S&M, because it'll hurt the planet, make it all hot and wet, but you'll love it, because it's a Labor policy, except it's not. Fuck you. Safeguard Mechanism. If passed by Parliament, our repackaged shit light Safeguard Mechanism will safeguard the coal and gas industry for the rest of this decade. Because let's be clear, the only way humanity currently knows how to reduce actual emissions is simple. Stop fucking digging up new coal and gas, which is why the science says that's what we must do. Does the Safeguard Mechanism do that? Yeah, nah. That's why we still have over 100 new coal and gas projects awaiting approval. All the Safeguard does is force them to buy carbon credits to offset their emissions. Not all their emissions, just a tiny bit of another tiny part of their emissions. Which might sound like an incentive until you remember fossil fuel companies made this much profit last year alone. So the cost of buying credits to avoid reducing their actual emissions comes to approximately fuck all. Does the Safeguard at least limit how many credits they can buy? No, which means our mates can even increase emissions, pay to offset them with credits and still claim to be net zero. Given our climate policy relies entirely on carbon credits, it would be a real shame if those credits turned out to be bullshit. Thankfully, we just held an inquiry into their integrity, and who better to appoint to it than people linked to the carbon credit industry? But don't worry, the inquiry looked at all the evidence evidence from the ANU, evidence the inquiry itself commissioned, even evidence from companies that sell carbon credits, all of which suggests they're mostly bullshit, and then concluded they're essentially sound. Cool and normal. By now you're probably wondering, if our policy to reach our 2030 target doesn't stop new coal and gas projects, doesn't reduce most emissions from existing ones, lets them buy infinite credits to offset emissions with credits that don't offset emissions, does it really do anything? Oh, sweetie, sure it does. It distracts you with bullshit so our mates can keep making the ching-ching for the rest of this decade. Australian government. New government, same climate shit fuckery. Authorised by the Department for ensuring our 2030 target is a floor, not a ceiling.
Thank you to all our patrons for making the Honest Government ads possible, especially.
There you go. Apologies, everyone, for those
politics
profanities.
There is
So,
a
yeah,
piece
so that-
of that, but I couldn't find it. It's not as entertaining anyway.
No. But there's the safeguard mechanism. We're all wrapped up. Dear. Anyway.
On that note, I'm going to say goodnight all.
All right.
Early starts up here.
Good night, Richard.
Take care.
Have a good shift.
Yep. Thanks all.
See you. Take care. Bye.
Thanks, mate.
Alrighty. Any last little bits? Because we could sort of ease. We've had a short show last week. We could sort of ease into a longer show next week. If we haven't got anything major happening, I think there is going to be a casual meetup in. Oh, here's Carmen. Welcome, Carmen.
Yes, I am.
Carmen's here for
Hi,
the
Carmen.
Tesla share price review.
Oh, we're about to wrap it all up.
I know. I went to dinner. But I've had trouble getting in the last few times.
Yes, we did mention it. So unfortunately, I had to leave early. So we only recorded the show for the first hour, and then, as I've sort of jokingly said before, since the star of the show left, then the whole structure collapsed, and everyone sort of buggered off early and went to bed, and that was it. And
I spoke
when
with
you and
John.
John, yes, so when you and John jumped on, it was only the two of you because no one was left. But we're back now. I'm back to a full schedule, so we're rocking on.
Where have you been?
Oh, I just had some important stuff I had to do, so yeah. So anyway, but yeah, totally back on deck, and we've got the longer shows. So yeah, so the Tesla share price has gone up a little bit, Carmen. I think it was up 7% overnight, which is pretty good.
It's very good.
Don't know what they're trending at the moment. In fact, I can go and look
It's
at.
open. It's open at 9:30 now. So
Oh, it is too. So we'll see.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
it's
it's
down just
106.
a little tad.
196.18.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep. Roughly. Yeah. That's okay. I don't know what the rest of the market's doing at the
No,
moment,
it's good. It's good.
but
It's good. My stock
yeah.
broker will be pleased.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
there's an update. Has anything changed in the updates in the driving? I'm trying to think what I had a problem with.
Yes, we can put Icelandic in now, I think it is.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
I look, to be honest, I've been trying to keep up my studies in Icelandic, and it's been a little bit of a chore. And I thought I'd just let those studies chill out a little bit. So I reckon it'd be quite refreshing to have Icelandic in my car. I could really, yes,
Well,
polish
I'm
my
not
Icelandic.
impressed with the heater. This heater is a problem because I must have hit the wrong button when I was in a rush, and it was 37 degrees when I got back to the car. It was defrosting.
Oh, yes. Is that from your app? So you're trying to put the aircon on, and you put in a preheat, whatever it's called, precondition instead.
I must have put something in. I think it was pressing the on button on the screen. It hit the defrost.
Yes.
And it was quite a nuisance, and I couldn't turn it off. I had to stop by the side of the road, stop the car, lock it, and open it again twice before I could turn it off. Couldn't turn off.
I think if you just press, because the defrost is the windscreen defrost, so that's the curved symbol, defrost symbol. There's two defrost symbols. There's a rectangular one which is for the rear window, and then if you hit the curved one, which sort of stylistically looks like a windscreen, that will direct full hot air to, you know, the windscreen vents, but it does put your I think it does put your aircon onto full high, I think, something like
Yeah,
that.
it did.
So if
It
you
was
just hit that
boiling.
again, and it goes in amber color, I think it lights up as amber, not
did.
red.
It did.
So if you just hit it again, it should turn it off, but then it might keep the temperature still high. So then you've just got to lower the temperature down from probably high down to, you know, I think the highest temperature you can set is 30 degrees from memory.
Well,
and then you just got to take it.
I just went and put it, hit the number button for the temperature, and I made it 18 to see if it would all go down quickly. Because it was a bit of a nuisance.
Yeah. That is one slight disadvantage with a touchscreen.
Yeah.
In that if you sort of misalign it, but I guess that could have happened with buttons as well. Although I think it was it Pete that you mentioned that you liked the knob? So, well, no, that was someone else.
That I like no knob, Harold.
We've got more double entendres than, was it John from Play School? He was very fond of the double entendre. But yeah, so obviously if you had a dial that you could change temperature, that would be a bit easier. But these things happen, Carmen. It's a first world problem.
They do. I know. It's yes. It's not a common. It was just I was in a bad spot and it was a bad time. Yeah. But that's probably why it happened, because I was rushing.
Yep.
And
well, it's a pain too, you know. Oh, go Pete.
Go, Harold. No, you go.
I was just going to say, it's what is really a pain, and sometimes it creeps up on you, and then the problem is, once it's crept up, it doesn't really go away, is if you inadvertently put the seat heater on.
Yes.
Because you don't notice straight away, and then you get like this rather disturbing, creeping warmth feeling, and then by the time you realise what it is, all that nichrome wires in the centre of the seat are already at full temperature, and now the heat's just coming towards you, and it stays hot for quite a while. I hate doing that. That's a pain.
I have done that as well, but not this time. And you can feel it and you think, oh, I don't know why it's so hot.
Yeah. At least in the Model X that Rich has got, that used to be mine, it actually has seat coolers. So you can try and combat that by turning the coolers on. Yeah, it's got ventilated seats, but Model 3s and Ys don't have them, well, yet. And whether they do in the future, who knows? But
actually, on that, there was that Project Highland. Some rumours came out today.
Yes.
Seems to be a fairly minimal update, apart from hardware for cameras and new mirrors, I think they mentioned. But yeah, I was hoping for a hatch for the boot. But
sorry, what do you mean a hatch for the boot? For Model 3, you mean?
Yes. So I had the Ys for a hatch rather than a sedan type boot. Yeah. So I was hoping, they might make that as a change to the Model 3, but it doesn't look like there'll be, any major changes really.
I wonder if that would class itself as a major change. I guess it's a structural change because the way you then lose that cross member, because that becomes the hatch, doesn't it? So
yes.
But that would be, you'd still class that as a, I don't know, would you class as a minor change, really, as a hatchback on a refresh? I mean, that report did also rightly say that a lot of the changes aren't really customer facing. It's more to do with production efficiencies. So more casting, more simplicity. I think they were taking some of the weight out of the drivetrain, out of the electric motors, because they found there there was some surplus strength that wasn't required, and that strength obviously cost weight. So that's sort of interesting.
It may have slightly lighter glass coming from the S and the X.
Yes.
You know, improvements in the glass roof.
Yeah, exactly. And and obviously hardware 4. So I think there was someone that actually showed some comparison that must have been on a model. Was it a Model S that was mentioned, Pete, I think? Or was it a Model Y that had hardware 4 cameras?
Because they're talking about a center-mounted bumper camera position.
Yeah, but also they were mentioning the side cameras on the indicators, that they had a wider field of vision.
Yes. Actually, I saw a YouTube video about that today. Yeah, it's almost
the two different shots.
Field of view. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It was. I think it was actually on Rob Mauer's. It was towards the end of Rob Mauer's video. And I'm just getting it.
And they had that grey line, the grey line on the road that they.
That's the one. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just trying to scroll. Oh, there we go. Here it is. So this. Oops. This was the new camera, and you can see the nice full color. And that's the other one, which has the more.
Slightly later in the day, that one though, but still.
No. I think they're different cameras, to be honest, Pete. Yeah. I think they have a different color gamut.
Well, I think. Yeah.
But yeah, so you can see this has got a wider view because he basically lined up
same position,
this tape with the actual camera in the indicator. So there are some changes there, which is sort of interesting. And of course, go Pete.
I just found that article that we're both referencing. I'll see if I can pull it up. Where is it? Here it is. So yeah, redesigned headlights.
Yep.
Bumper camera.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the Cybertruck photo.
Yes. It's interesting how it's offset. Did you see that? If you just scroll back up.
Yeah,
it's just offset to the right, as in the car's right, which is the opposite to the driver's side for them. So that means for us it would be on the left side, which is more the curb side. So that's kind of interesting.
It's interesting how the Cybertruck, they went to school on that, and they've got a full opening front now, like the Ford. They've actually changed that so that whole front lifts up.
Yeah, absolutely. Something about the B-pillar cameras, yeah. But it seems pretty clear that these really are incremental changes. It's not like you're going to have a massively refreshed car, which we kind of feared. And this is Highland, so this is Model 3, isn't it, Pete? This is just Model 3.
Yeah, correct. That's the Highland article, yep.
Yep. Because the Model Y, I forget what that was called, actually. That's...
Juniper?
Juniper, that's it. Yep. That's the one. That's it. Juniper. Because that was in the news a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Or in our news. Which, obviously, that's going to be further down the road. Unless, of course, the second batch of Model Ys have got some changes that our first batch don't have, Pete. And we'd be a little bit disappointed then.
Well, yeah.
What was your date built? My date was 23rd of January. You would have been all around the same period, I guess. For your, it said 23rd of January on mine it was built.
I have to look at my invoice. Just give me 2 seconds. Just got to quickly log in. I think that's probably right. Just got my dashboard open. Model Y manage. And then once you hit manage, I can view invoice. Interwebs are going a little bit slow at the moment. Here we go. Order agreement, final invoice version 3. Which, by the way, the record is version 17, apparently. Mine was...
okay.
So did you say 23rd, John?
23rd of January, I saw on my...
Yeah, wow, mine's the 28th.
Okay.
So, are you in the 743,000 VIN category? Well, you must be lower than that.
I haven't not logged in.
Yeah,
so
no, that's good. No, that's all right. That's cool. Because
yeah.
you are quite, you're
Maybe.
sort of 5 days earlier, so that you'd have to be several thousand VINs away.
Maybe they were doing reds then. Maybe they were doing the reds earlier or something.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I've seen quite a few videos, like YouTube videos from the Shanghai factory, and in fact there was one where there's a long form interview. It was really good actually. It was a Chinese news agency, but it was all in English, and it went for about half an hour. And I actually noticed that the trim seemed to be the same color. So if it was all white interior, they were running all white interior, but the actual body colors were intermixed. So they weren't all the same body color, but they did seem to be the same trim level and color.
Okay, yeah.
So because I guess it makes
mine's
sense.
Black trim.
Right.
Yeah.
So for instance, I've ordered my wife a blue Model Y Performance with white interior, and one of our committee members, Ken Taylor, who was on earlier this evening, he ordered a blue with a black interior, and I ordered a white with a white interior. So mine and my wife's car are along with yours, John, on that first batch, but Ken actually missed out, and his car is on the second batch, even though Ken was probably the
very early in the
third
day.
The third person that morning to hire, to put an order in, because we were actually we had a special Ask Us Anything session for the Model Y order day, and I think I've explained this many times before, but basically, because we were clicking directly to the order page and not the link to the order page, that order page actually opened a couple of minutes before the link to it opened. So everyone else in the rest of Australia were flooding around waiting for the Tesla webpage to update that link, whereas we were already straight there. So I officially, and not as a matter of bragging, but it just happened this way at random, I got the very first order in. I think then Russell would have gotten the second order, and I think Ken was probably the third, and Pete was probably the third or fourth. We were really super close. And yet, like I said, Ken missed out on the first boat, but he had a white Y with black interior
trim.
And in fact, my wife's the second order I put in was my wife's, and that actually took quite a while because I was trying to wrap my head around how to get back into the website and all that sort of stuff. So her order was well after Ken's, and yet he had to wait an extra. Well, it turns out to be a month with shipping. So so go figure.
I was about an hour later, probably about an hour after you.
Oh right, no. If you go back onto YouTube, look through the Model Y Order Day special, it's just that magic moment. In fact, I've got the audio grab for it, and it goes a little bit like this. Oh! It's on.
Oh, it is. You're right. Yeah.
I'm in.
And there it goes, and it's funny. It worked out really well. I actually predicted that we'd all like yell and scream and then giggle like little children, and then we'd be super quiet as we're rapidly trying to get our orders in and get our credit card numbers right and all that sort of stuff. And that's exactly what we did. We just shut up, did nothing for the next 3 minutes of dead air while we're busily trying to get our orders, and then you do the old cheering of yes, and it was pretty entertaining.
In the lolly shop,
it was, but we had to wait. I think we were recording for an hour, and I think we started at 7, and I think the orders, they had opened at about 8:15, something like that from vague memory.
Yeah.
So there was a little bit of us just like, talking, chewing the fat, hitting refresh, nothing happening, chewing the fat again until obviously something did happen. And it was a great day. And that was back in June, wasn't it, Pete? I think it was June-ish, something like.
Yep.
Long time ago.
15th of June comes into
Yeah, it was a Friday, I think. But yeah, top day. I can't wait for the. Well, actually, I don't know if it'll happen for the Cybertruck because we've only really got reservations. So maybe it'll happen when we go to configure. Like there'll be a configure.
Oh yeah.
Oh, who knows? Don't know.
Because we might have to get rid of the single motors, whoever ordered those, because they might not be available. And the tri-motor, you may be able to swap to a quad motor now. And
yeah, although it's funny you say that because I think, there was talk about, was it following Investor Day that the tri-motor, that the quad motor might not actually come out, at least for the foreseeable future, and it might still just be the plaid setup.
I think it was someone who's spoken to Tom Zhu.
Yes.
Who let that information out. So, yeah. Well,
which I hope they're wrong because I'd like to have a quad motor. That'd be better.
Oh, it'd be brilliant. Yeah. I just have to configure our paint jobs.
Yes, we'll have any colour we like as long as it's stainless steel. Thanks.
Exactly.
Oh dear. Yeah, there you go. Alrighty. Well, it's getting on a little bit. Unless we've got any last drinks, let me just configure myself so I can do this properly. But yeah, any last comments or anything before we go? It's been a much longer night than normal in recent times. Anything else? No, all good. Alrighty. Well,
all good.
So, Pete, as if I didn't really know, how do you think? What do you think would be an appropriate way to round out this rather awesome and fact and fun-filled session?
As always, stay safe, stay sustainable, and stay ahead of the curve.
The best way to do that is buy a Tesla, join Tokwa, and ask us anything about accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy. Have a wonderful week, everyone. Really, really look forward to seeing you next week. On next week's episode of Ask Us Anything. Good night, everyone.
Okay, thanks.
Well done,
Thank
Harold.
you. Good night.
Catch you next week.
Cheers.
Good night.